bitch.
I like your drumming. Oh,
Hi.
She did it.
we're at Anna's
Don't hate on me.
Lagoon.
Don't hate on me.
On a lagoon. We
This
get
will be
a
the
little,
closest you get to my lagoon.
a little glimpse of lagoon. Aw. Welcome, everybody. Hi, Anissa and Teen and Jessica. Welcome, babes. Rebecca's busy today celebrating her husband's B-Day with hot wings and beer. Sounds good to me. But anyways, so we are here with week 3. Got my book sleeve. Oh, look at that. Would you look at that?
Mhm.
You pull it out.
Anna took her book on vacation with her.
Don't get it wet.
Look at that, week 3. So we did some interesting stories this week.
I felt these were more emotional.
It felt like a more emotional week. We got a few box items in this week's reading, so that was kind of cute too to see where some of those stories come from. Yeah, I got my Joey D here, a little Joe Damage bookmark. We all got a slightly different one, which I love. That's super fun. Anyway, so how was everybody's week?
My shower's still broken, but I got my hair washed today.
Yay! Did you go into
Oh my God, are you going over to your mom's house?
No, I had my dad wash my hair. That's why look at how it
I meant
moves
to, like,
when
shower.
he washes it. Well, I can fill the bathtub up with like the kitchen sink, so I could take a bath, just not wash my hair.
Yeah.
If that ain't some Little House on the Prairie shit,
That's what I was saying. I was like, I feel
I
like
don't know what it is.
I feel like I'm on like homestead. I'm homesteading. I'm like filling up from the well.
You should have did that at home today. I was making bread, butter. I tried to make farmer's cheese. Didn't like the way it came out.
Speaking of bread, I came across, I don't know if it's my algorithm hearing you guys talk about bread, but I found this person who made like this special bread cutter with wood. I will send it to you on how they make it to slice. It's just like a piece that you just put it on. They just, right?
Mm-hmm. Well,
okay.
There's some on Amazon that have little slats, and you just put your loaf in there, and then it gives you even slices.
Okay, yeah.
But I made jalapeno cheddar tonight.
You taste it?
Better.
Do we get to see it? What it looks like?
Yeah, I got a picture of it. Oh, it's not going to show it because of my motherfucking background.
You're in the Bermuda Triangle, that's why.
I know.
It's a little wonky out there.
When you did
Fucking
this
island.
with your thing, you almost disappeared. It was funny.
I gotta come off the island. Let me see. There it is.
Oh, that's pretty.
My jalapeno cheddar bread.
Oh, it's tough.
King cake. What is king cake?
What?
I don't know what king cake is. King cake?
Mardi Gras.
King cake is the round.
Yeah.
King cake.
Round,
That's
color.
that Louisiana Mardi Gras stuff. How was
I
it?
feel like I'm not that what's that word? Diverse in the bread world. I don't know a lot of these breads. I like to eat bread.
It's like a dessert. I feel like. Do you eat it savory? I feel like it's always like it's like a dessert. It's a sweet.
I like bread. I just don't know the types of breads out there.
The kind you eat.
There's a lot.
You eat it.
I need to be more diverse in that world.
So on is still baking. We're still homesteading over there. Good to know.
Now I'm
Good
starting to grow my herb garden now because it's getting larger than my windowsill
Yeah.
pot. So we looked at some stuff to put outside. And then, I'm making butter like every 2 weeks. But last week, we half the container of butter that I made. So I ended up taking the butter I had left. I made a herb butter out of it. And then I just did fresh butter now for the next 2 weeks.
Yum. I love a good herb butter.
What milk do you use? Like the raw milk to make the
Heavy
butter?
cream.
Heavy cream.
Heavy cream. Oh, see,
You whip it past whipped cream. Keep it going.
right.
Regina, welcome.
I
in.
make whipped cream. I'll do that.
And then just keep going.
Traditional
And then after whipped cream, before it's butter, there's another word for it, right? Butter whip.
No, buttermilk comes out of when you're doing
No,
the
no,
Butter.
but like before it's butter, right before it gets to be butter, there's like another
like
unless
clotted cream or something.
just
What
whipped
is
butter before it's actually
No.
butter. I don't know.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I'm gonna look it up right now.
Okay.
Go to a
Stages of butter.
like a European, like a world bakery. That would be fun. I want like a world bakery. We can get a little bit of everything, like something from around the world,
Yeah,
all baked goods. That'd be bomb. From breads to sweets and like cakes and
yeah.
pastries.
That's what like farmers markets are for, right?
Kind of, but like
Not for,
they're
but
not
like
like worldly enough, I feel
yeah.
like, for you to really get like the full, you know, gamut of treats there. But anyway, all right. So, anything else from anybody? Any of you bees have anything going on this week? Gotta know about? Want to share? Anything exciting? Something totally shitty you just want to share with us?
Wow. Just totally shitty.
Like I said, my highlight
No,
was getting my hair washed.
Does your Disney not have a world showcase? It does, but being a vegetarian, I can't eat it most of the stuff. So like
It does
Disneyland
not
does
have a
have it.
Disney showcase.
Not at Disneyland, by the way, but they over at California Adventure, they have a kind of around the world thing, but it's like maybe 5 or 6 countries. And I know that sometimes they change them, but most of the items are meat. So
Right now they're doing the Chinese New Year's. They got
ooh, and that's fun.
I've never seen. I don't know what you're talking about. What world thing do they do there?
You can kind of eat around the world. They just have like kind of like carts that you can walk up to and you just order. They have like maybe 3 things on their menu and you can just order one of those. And then
Well, I
some
know-
will be like just drinks, some of them will be like just desserts, and some of them will be like more savory foods.
and different times of the year they'll bring out different things too. I know.
yeah, and I mean they do it at Disney World because you can visit all the foods there.
No, yeah,
but-
Disney World. Yes, I think that's what she means. Though, is like there's an area. For
They
each
do,
country.
though.
There's
At-
the wharf at California. You're talking about the wharf area.
No, not
No.
at the wharf.
That's the only place I can picture it.
No, at California Adventure, they have like a whole walk-up area. Remember where Bugs Life used to be? Like if you walk along that whole way, it starts kind of at the vineyard winery,
Yeah, that's like where the wharf area is.
and then it's like right. Well, that's across the way though. It's like right that whole walk. It's like left, right, left, right. They don't do it. I don't think they do it like all the time. But
Yeah,
Isn't
yeah.
it where
So that's
they
what I'm saying. Yeah,
do, like,
throughout the year
those
they do different
Muertos
things.
thing
what was
every
that?
year, where they do like the Day of the Dead celebration.
Mm.
Isn't that where it's at? Underneath like the little arch thing where they usually put
think,
all
yeah.
the bags.
Yep.
Yeah.
In that area,
All
yeah.
the cocoa stuff.
Yeah. I went to a funeral for a childhood friend, sweetest guy, brain cancer. That's a shitty week.
Damn.
I'm
Well,
sorry.
way to be
Go through
a downer
that.
there, teen.
Mm.
Sorry to hear that.
Oh, that's rough. Brain cancer.
That sucks.
I'm so afraid of that one. That's like that rough one.
Oh, I would.
It's like,
You know what? Let's move on.
yeah. I was gonna say, wait, how many stories could all of us tell about that? That's a rough one. So, anyway, I'm sorry to go through that this week.
Yeah.
Hopefully next week's a little nicer for you. All right, ladies. Speaking of stories, some good, some bad, kind of all across the board this week. We started with Who Can You Trust? Who can you trust? This
Oh golly.
wonderful,
Fuck her mom.
story.
Fuck her mom. Pissed me off.
Although, I mean, if it,
I
like
get
I was
it.
surprised how she was able to. Not
Forget.
surprised, but that's amazing. I should say that she was able to later on like look
That.
at it from hindsight of what her mom was going through.
Yeah.
Well,
And-
now, but I'm sure then
Yeah.
she was
Oh
probably
no.
Yeah.
pissed and hurt too. But yeah,
This is the story of a woman who's having pretty much the shittiest week of her life, but it ends up turning into a pretty incredible thing. It starts off, poor thing, with her husband saying, I'm going to leave you for one of my students, adult student, so whatever. But, and then she's at work and finally gets tenure, and her boss is absolutely incredible about it. She goes home. Her home has been completely ransacked, broken into.
But I died when her daughter was like, I can't tell if they were in here. And her room was just.
Her daughter's conversation with the police officer was the best.
I could picture she's like 5 too, right?
Okay, did it annoy anybody else that she kept referring her to as 5 3/4?
I thought it was funny because
I'm
you
like,
know when you're
enough.
five
I'm
and 3/4
thinking she said it that way as reference to. I can picture her because they're speaking, right, and saying it as that it was her daughter saying it, because I just picture her daughter probably always saying, "I'm 5 3/4."
That's exactly what I thought too.
Oh my god, I was like, get off of it, lady. Like that's like saying, oh my god, like my kid. How the fuck old is Desi? 12. He's like, you know.
Yeah, but at that age, they're saying that. So I'm
34 months, right? When we go and say that one,
I was assuming she was just kind of mimicking her daughter in that, because I was like, because she didn't write like that the rest of it.
No, not quite, but
I feel like that just gave us like an insight of the daughter.
Yeah. So, anyways, it moves along to where she then is supposed to go on this work trip. She's supposed to give a talk, or I'm sorry, lead like a I don't know,
to get her funding, right?
Like a talk, yeah, to get grant funding for her research into breast cancer. Obviously, she ends up she becomes a geneticist, does all kinds of work there, and comes to discover that we can, early detection for breast cancer through the BRCA1 gene. She's done all kinds of stuff since then. So fuck yeah with your life after that motherfucker was gone.
Yeah.
But his peace offering was a fucking vacuum.
I mean, we know it was 1981, so it was no Dyson. So fuck you and that Hoover.
Right.
Hell out of here.
Fuck your Hoover. Yeah. Anna gave everyone a little desk vacuum as a consolation prize for reading this one.
Oh, that story.
Oh my goodness. I was so overwhelmed by all the personal shit going on with her. She reveals who she is and what she researches. I was flabbergasted.
Right?
Thank you. Like that horrible week literally turned into a lifetime of research and accolades for her. Obviously, it was meant to be. It's just that when you're going through all of that, you can't see it. And then the way that her mom behaved in the middle of all of it, I can understand that she was going through a rough time. She lost her husband, just a couple months prior. And so she was like, I just don't want to deal with this. But you kind of left your daughter there in the lurch. However, her chance encounter with a stranger, which is our prompt for our own stories this week, which is kind of funny, led her to have a moment with, let her daughter have a moment with fucking Joe DiMaggio.
Mm-hmm.
That was hilarious. You're gonna leave your daughter with a stranger. He's not a stranger, not to anybody.
I'd have been like, you're gonna leave your daughter high and dry when she needs you the most, you bitch. Yeah. Get your ass on the plane by yourself. Oh, God bless you.
You can't get yourself on the plane? No. Okay, well.
Right, well.
Can somebody get her a wheelchair, please? Yeah, I would have said wheelchair for this one.
Seriously.
Yeah.
You figure it out.
You would not. You drove her ass to the gate.
Me? Not in
that situation.
Not where I needed to have someone stay in line for me, and I'm asking a 5-year-old child to do it. The 80s were very different.
Mm-hmm.
Very different. 1981.
Yeah.
I would not ask my 5-year-old to hold my place in line.
I mean, Presley's like a bouncer. I would.
I did ask my child to hold my place in line recently. Which one was it? Was it Colette? I think it was Colette. Yes, it was Colette. It was in the middle of the street. Not the street, the sidewalk. And I'm like, do I leave her? Because I forgot to put. But she's 11. But she's so tiny. I was like, oh, she can get kidnapped. But I ran and put money in the meter and came back.
You just gotta get a rope next time and like tie it around her waist, and then you take it with you. Like a lifeline. Yeah.
Someone's off.
Yeah, not today.
Oh my God, no. Anyway, that was hilarious. He even helped her get her ticket and everything.
Yeah, that was sweet.
That was just really sweet. Gotta love good old Joe.
Mm-hmm.
That was a good story. A nice way to start our week. a series of unfortunate events that led to a pretty incredible discovery, and obviously is a major step forward for women's health. So go Mary.
Yeah. Like she knew the importance, because I was like, you really still gonna go after all this? I would have melted down and
Right?
just
I was
tried
God, her
and feel,
resilience
yeah.
is
But she knew she had
it was important.
what she had.
Yeah.
She had a thing. Go
Oh,
Mary.
yeah.
His
It could
island in
not.
Fiji got hit by a tsunami.
Your island?
His island.
Oh,
Went to.
I thought you were saying that's why you're off your island.
No, his island.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Idiot.
Right.
I was
Oh,
like,
man.
if she tells me that somehow she found out that it was like this dude's girlfriend that like was the cause of the house being ransacked, I was like, please don't go there. I was glad
Oh,
that
yeah.
that got like kind of carried on. It was funny enough with the police officer and her daughter. We didn't need to do anything else. But anyway, then we have a new home. The story of
That was a sweet story. I mean, it had the heartache in it, obviously, but
yeah, refugees. That
Ugh.
one's that, right?
That was a good one.
yeah.
Yeah.
It was
Okay.
a son,
That was the
right?
story of the refugee seeking asylum.
Mm-hmm.
A very scary situation, and talk about not really knowing someone until they decide you're grown enough, or there's a pivotal moment in life where you have to literally make yourself the most vulnerable so that your entire family can, be safe. That was an incredible moment for that father and for his daughter, who finally got to know him and understand finally why he wasn't around.
Right. And then when she's being the interpreter, right? In court. And when you're interpreting so quickly, and then she's like hearing and doesn't have time to react to what she's hearing, and she's just saying it.
Yeah. Did we see this? I'm sorry. Joe was a fucking gem. 10 out of 10.
Right.
Oh my God. Yes, he was. 10 out of 10 would recommend.
Well, I love that the judge came back and had
Mhm.
the father stamp his children's papers.
Mm-hmm.
I
Like knowing the significance of it and the importance of it, and not just treating it like another transaction kind of thing. Yeah.
Well, it's one of those things. It's so hard. There's so many, people that come through. I mean, my family, my dad is an immigrant. He came over, so I had a ton of family that have done and gone through citizenship. But reading his story like that, that was just. And that's what I was saying. Like, for the judge, I get it. Like, there's so many you gotta move through. You gotta move through, and yeah, they broke the law, but for him to at least even understand it and see it, and then
he was given his moment to really make this person understand that sometimes you will resort.
Yeah, you have to. That's your only
a crime.
Yeah.
To save your entire life and your family's
and
life.
that the judge was able to overlook that.
Yeah, his humanity, I think, is definitely persevered there. That was a moment of strength. Obviously, it's like you're just hearing another story, but for the dad to really share what he went through in the way that he did.
He didn't want to. That wasn't easy, but that was for his family.
Yeah, such bravery. That was incredible. I was like, damn. Boom, stamp it. That was so amazing. I loved that. Love that one. A new home. Hold on. Where are we?
The greener grass is the next one. What was that one?
Just hoping my situation turns out that good. Exactly. You gotta have hope. Absolutely, babe.
What was the greener grass one? I'm reading.
Yeah, greener grass is a woman who's kind of. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, you're probably gonna say it better than I will.
I doubt that.
But I would love to hear how you say it.
Yeah.
Stupid.
I love Dominique.
I was just gonna say it's the wife who was feeling basically bored in her marriage, and then
oh yes, the writer
show some attention.
That's right.
And then the husband and the writer guy liked each other.
That was cute. That was
Romance.
like, I was a little like,
That
oh
was
no,
so
don't
fun.
do anything. And it seemed like it was done, I don't know, a little mixed because I feel like it might be a little, it would be a different read if it was the opposite sex.
Yeah. Well, I think that like it definitely shows the side of a marriage where like after a certain amount of time, sometimes things do become like stagnant or
Mundane.
not boring, but it's just like there is no more surprise and there is no more excitement. And sometimes you forget to see each other for like the person
Yeah.
that you fell in love with. And sometimes you just kind of you fall into your patterns and your, daily ups and downs and your, schedules. And it's sometimes like, oh yeah, I forgot. Like we used to be just the two of us at one point.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the husband
Some
was
of us
even
were never
like,
just the two of us. But
the husband was like, what was it? Like, oh, you got a crush? And she felt like a little
Was
I love that
embarrassed.
he knew her. He still knew her well enough to know
Yeah.
like that there was a little bit of a sparkle. Like obviously you spoke to this other writer, you're telling me about this person, which is great. We do have an open and honest communication here. And maybe that's what helped him see that like maybe he needed to just pay a little bit more attention.
Well, and then
But
now that I remember reading that, she would talk about the emails, and like every time she got an email, she'd get excited. And what's dangerous about that is what a lot of people don't realize. It's like a dopamine when you get these like on Instagram or whatever, like the likes. It wasn't
yeah.
really. I don't think it was that like she was excited about him. It was like the little dopamine hit she was getting, and
makes
that's really what was
Yeah.
she was striving for. Was this little like
I agree because
kicks.
it's not like it wasn't him. It was just something different and
Yeah.
something new and something fresh and something exciting.
Yeah.
And while she did say that she was careful not to take it somewhere that it shouldn't go, it's still she couldn't help the way that it made her feel.
Again, no, and that's what's scary about everything online
Right.
and how your brain
Right.
works and not
I agree about the dopamine too. Yeah.
yeah.
Laundry doesn't do it for me, so I don't put it away. I'll wash it. I won't put it away.
Yeah, it's no longer the
You get the dopamine fix when it's clean, like it's
Oh,
clean,
yeah.
but
That's what
but
it
putting
is.
it away, no. Putting it away is like
And like, ooh, we got clean clothes. Don't care where it's
That's good.
coming
Done.
from to put them on. Yeah, I'll pull them straight out of the dryer, put them on. That stranger reminded her she's a bad bitch, and now she could take that energy and put it back into her marriage.
Yeah.
That's kind of how that story really went, isn't it?
and it seemed like the husband always thought that too.
tall boy right now. What are you drinking?
She just had to remind
Arizona
herself.
Huh?
tea? You got an Arizona tea or a tall boy? What you got?
Well, we were talking about the tall boys last week, right?
Right?
I always go to
Arnold's fucking
Arnold.
Palmer. Those were so good. I remember.
They are.
Well, I don't drink those ones because they're too sweet now, but
Oh.
those were good. I remember I loved them.
I cracked up when she was talking about John Cusack and Say Anything. I love that movie.
Oh, I do
That
too.
movie is fantastic.
I wanted to watch it again, but I was
She was like, he referenced it, so I had to watch it that night. I do
Did
love
you?
that movie.
Like,
That's what she
Rihanna.
said. No, that's what
Oh.
she said when he
That's what she
mentioned
said.
it.
Yeah. Oh, that was good.
That was one of my dream moments that I wish would happen.
Houston!
Houston,
We have a problem.
there's still time.
Yeah, there's still time for her say anything moment.
There's still time for my say anything moment. We still have a window.
Window is
My
he's
say
not
anything
dead, so he
moment.
has-
He said, "What say anything?"
Oh, tell him
She
you
said-
can figure it out within the hour. I want that movie started.
Look it up. We got a window right here.
And
Just look it up.
needs to be a boombox, not a cell phone, just like held up.
Boombox. Oh, he said, "Oh, the boombox." He knows what it is. He knows I want it.
He'll go get the little radio from how many, like a year and a half ago.
Yeah, from the operator.
Yeah.
Her little operator.
It doesn't have to be like.
It's got to be a boombox though. You got to borrow.
Yeah.
There's
Oh,
always
sorry.
Cardboard one. Put the speaker behind it.
There is always time.
I can't even get it.
The inflatable
honestly-
boombox.
I wouldn't mind if it happened when we were 80.
Love declaration. I love it.
Will it be sweeter?
I thought it was good though that she had to stew in her fucking blisters and her little outfit.
Oh, that
She
was cute.
really,
That
like,
was funny.
planned out. I'm sorry, but like we do try to like dress for ourselves. Like, you want to feel good.
Yeah.
And even if like it's not for someone else, like it still makes you feel. But anyways, then she had stew, and I was like, she said, "Serves me right."
Right.
And then his next email was like, "Your husband is lovely," and that's how he described her. And I think she finally realized, like, he's just really, really friendly.
Nice. Yeah. And obviously a really good looking guy. If the husband's like, he's a good looking guy.
He's the best looking guy I've ever seen.
Right? So
And
you
now
got
he understands why she might have a little crush, but she obviously didn't take it too far. She just emotionally got a little more invested than she should have.
Yeah.
But obviously came back to reality.
That's still gonna get you in trouble.
Back to life. Back to reality. If somebody doesn't sing right now, you know, there.
I was gonna say it, then he said the next line.
Well, it reminds me, I do have, I don't know if I mentioned to you guys, I do have like what we joke around, my church boyfriend. He's this 9-year-old man
90
at church, and
9-year-old, and then I heard man, and I was really confused.
Same
90.
thing. On a same.
So we call my church boyfriend because he likes to take pictures with me if I'm in certain dresses.
Yeah,
And
Where
he'll
those
like
pictures end up.
he'll squeeze my waist, and he has a little swag for a 90-something-year-old man.
Yeah.
And
And then the day that he's no longer with us, you may find those pictures posted all over his room.
I do.
He just probably takes his phone to bingo and shit and like, look at this one. Look what she wore this week. Look what and look at this. Like, he probably just shows you off at like, like bingo and what else do they play? Euchre.
Yeah.
He goes to
I could
bridge.
find where are they?
Little Yahtzee tournament.
Yahtzee friends. Oh my god, we had a neighborly
Dad.
our family cabin. She was a property kind of like over and behind, but anyways, she was always really funny, and her name was Otzi, but as kids we just could not fathom that was her name.
What's her name?
Otzi.
Oh, I like that.
So naturally, every
Yahtzee.
time we spoke about her for the next 30 to 40 years, her name was Yahtzee. All of us still to this day call her Yahtzee, and she has passed, and I think her husband sold their home, I think. But anyway, fond memories of Yahtzee.
Good old Yahtzee.
Good old Yahtzee.
She was married.
Yeah. Her husband was there taking care of her in her final days.
Nope. Only ever saw her.
They have a beautiful garden up there too. But they were the ones with the high fence that didn't want the deer in. And we were always like, let them roam free.
Oh, here we are.
Big old butt. Oh, watch out, world. I think your blur on your background is actually affecting your phone.
Oh, but that's
Mine.
us. And
He's
that's
got
us
a
again.
I'm done.
What does he do? Dress to be your
Right?
Right?
Does
Well,
he
we're
call Houston and go, "What are you wearing today?"
No, yeah, he calls Houston and is like, what is Dominique in? I have to make sure I match. Wait, hold up.
What
Bring those up.
color?
Hold on.
There's more, but these are the ones I can find right now.
Dude, first of
can't-
all, if you don't see his
Here.
green shoe, that
Right.
Does he
How do
have
I take-
children? Like,
Oh, that was during Christmas time. Let me
there's a little
Oh,
flare down,
obviously.
how do I take off my thing again?
a little foot
Portrait.
flare.
There.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, there we go. Nice and clear. Oh my. He looks like you guys literally planned your outfit.
I'm
And
done.
then that was
I'm done. You guys look like an Easter basket.
Yeah, Ken and Barbie. Happy Easter.
so
Okay,
like
first of all,
that.
he is bomb for wearing 2 different color shoes at Christmas time, and you can see that he has had them for quite some time.
Wow.
Yeah.
Damn, Houston.
So it makes me like that story kind of made me think about.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You've got a crush of your own. That's okay. Or
Yeah.
he's
Yeah,
crush.
but he's old, and
Yeah,
you're
a
going to
little
be
different.
Well, but that's the same thing because she was a little older, and that's why I think she felt safe because she was older than him.
She felt
It's
safe
just a
because
little-
he was across the pond.
That too. That
Just a little
too.
crush. Tell me no thing.
All right. As if I was not there.
More music coming.
Moving on
You guys
from
are
that,
just ignoring me.
I was listening. wrong.
All right, bitches. Our next story.
Hmm.
If I was not there.
That's funny.
Sugar Daddy can't. Ooh, yeah. I mean, he clearly has money for outfits. Hello, get some shoes out of it. It'd be like, hey, you should give me some shoes to match your shoes next time.
All right. Yeah, I'll try that.
Try that, yeah. All right.
You just wear the other green and red shoe.
Oh.
There you go.
Right?
No.
Oh, he's like your height anyway. Okay, so our next
Convict
story was
in Ireland.
the Irish criminal.
Oh, that one.
Story was about kind of waiting out the system when you're convicted of a crime that you did not commit. That was a very short story. That one was very quick. However, it was interesting. Can you imagine, like, actually just...
No.
Do you remember how long he was in there for?
It seemed like it was a while.
It says he won his freedom in 1995. And the
Okay.
story, does it say where? Oh my
Let me
God.
look at 1980. Now,
1980.
so 15 years?
Maybe, yeah. That's what it
Oh.
sounds like.
Wow.
So, anyways, he has started, I think, a nonprofit since then.
Yes.
To
that.
help get attorneys and support to other inmates who have been convicted wrongfully of a crime.
Study
is-
center. Yeah.
Who the fuck goes through a shit time and then completely turns their entire life around to then make sure that no one else has to go through
Because that letter he got, right?
one letter
The
from
postcard.
someone who lost their partner with the same
The
name.
same name.
Just the same first name. Peter the fisherman.
Yeah.
That
what a
was
cool
so
dude.
fucking random.
I felt like that too. That was like a really random part of the story,
Mhm.
but I think the only part of it was that like someone's humanity, someone thought of him.
Yeah.
And it gave him enough courage.
Well, that was the point of it.
Yeah, to really hang on.
She plays it very well, the piano.
Nice
I do.
piano, right? Yeah, Desiree's on vacay. Welcome, Real D.
Not the fake one, the real one.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. That was an
Does
interesting
anybody else
story.
want to know in that story what evidence was there? What
There probably
kind of
was it. It was the 80s. He
were
was
you
probably
in where you put yourself in that scenario?
he was probably just in the
Anyway,
area.
He could have very
Or
well
it could have just been
drunk in a pub.
mistaken.
Or
Yeah.
like, yeah, he just looked.
Was it the other Peter? Was it
Maybe he just was wearing the same coat.
because the Peter
And they
was
said,
dead.
Well,
You know, it's not that
depending on
hard to
what
look
the
people
issue
up.
was, they want to basically tell the public we got the person right. Like this is the guy, and if the
No, I
guy was in
understand
the
that.
wrong place, wrong time, and mistaken or looked
Because
like him,
DNA was not a thing then
well,
yet,
do you know
right?
how many
No, I
people
understand.
have spent
That's what
their
I'm saying.
life
Like,
and
I
died
want to
in
know
prison
what.
that were wrongfully convicted? Like,
Yeah.
You could look it up. So first of all of the Moth stories are all across like the internet. You can look up Moth story and each person's name, which is at the top of everyone.
Yeah.
And then also at the end of each story, it gives a little background
Just
as
a question. I don't need the answer. I'm just saying.
Why don't you need the answer? We
She
can get
wants
the
it. She
answer.
just doesn't want to do the work.
We can get the answer. Somebody look up the answer.
Yeah.
Real deep.
No, it was just
Do
part of the
your-
discussion. It was just part of the discussion. Like, can we just can we just have some theories? What was it that happened? What did he do? Where was he that put himself in this scenario?
Yeah, let's
to
find
even
out.
be-
All of
No,
the
I
Moth
don't
stories.
real information, okay? Shirley Jackson, I want to pretend and I want to have a conversation.
Well, your conversation is
serious.
inspiring me to truly know and not
Okay.
pretendly know.
But pretendly, no.
So, heading into the next section called Like a Man Does.
Wait, is that where we're at? I didn't really realize that was the title, Like a Man.
no, wasn't it in the dark? Stumbling
Well,
in
no,
the dark?
that's
Yes,
but
the
no, but Like a Man Does
next
was the section.
Oh, got it.
section
I didn't,
is
like I said, I didn't realize that's what it was called. Like Amanda.
yeah, each
Okay.
section kind of, what was the title of the last section? 'Cause that was a really like Grace
Grace rushes in.
The
Okay.
last minute.
Oh, that makes
Okay.
sense now. Yeah.
Aw, I like that. Okay, so like a man does. Our next story is John Turturro's Stumbling in the Dark.
Wait, I found
interesting-
out about old Peter.
Oh, tell us.
Peter.
Don't tell
Pumpkin here.
Desiree. Desiree, plug your ears.
So he was sentenced to death for capital murder of 2 people during a bank robbery.
Oh.
2 other men were also sentenced to death for those murders, and they, along with Peter, had their death sentences commuted in 1981 by President Patrick Hillary. But it doesn't say why it was overturned. So I don't know.
Interesting.
But we want to know why
Why
they thought it was him.
You know what this reminds me of too? What was the movie with Kevin Spacey? He yes, right? Okay, so Kevin Spacey is the wrongly convicted man on death row. Apparently a woman is the usual suspect.
Oh, good job, teen.
No, wait. No.
No,
Usual
no.
Suspects wasn't it. That was a different one.
No.
Usual Suspects, he is the fucking culprit. Kaiser Soze. Yeah, that's that one. No, it was the other one. Oh, God, what was it called? Anyways, so basically, he's convicted of killing a woman. She's found with a bag over her head, duct tape around her neck, handcuffs behind her back.
I'm gonna rewatch that. That was so good.
His thumbprint is found on the bag. That's it. So, of course, he is convicted of killing her. His attorney is Kate Winslet. She's fucking amazing in this. She works really hard to try and figure out why he shouldn't be on death row. She's trying to help him get through this, trying to say he didn't commit the crime he, claims to. But in like the 11th hour, his death sentence is carried out.
The Life of David Gale.
The Life of David Gale. Thank you. Right as she is watching a video of the actual murder, which is not a murder. So she's over there watching this the same day he's supposed to be on death's door. He gets his last meal. She's watching this video. The woman is terminal and decides to take her own life. And she sets the entire thing up. And all he does is set the record on there. And at the end, after she's gone, he puts his thumbprint on her bag. And he literally lets himself get killed to prove a point about the system. Such a great fucking story.
Oh my goodness.
Great story. And it feels like Kate Winslet running because her car breaks down when she's trying to head there to say, hey, no, I have evidence. It wasn't him. But it still happens.
What was that one called?
The Life of David Gale.
Oh, wow.
He may be a freak, but that movie was incredible. Incredible.
When was that one? Do we know? I'm looking it up.
Let me see.
But anyways, that's what it reminds me of, kind of, except for the fact that this guy didn't have to die in the end. So thank goodness for that. All right.
Oh, I found it. 2003.
We're going to get to it. 03. Speaking of 2003, John Turturro in 2003 is visiting his brother, who is currently living in a psychiatric facility in Queens, New York. He takes his mom with him to go see his brother and or visit him on a day pass, take him out, get a haircut, get some food, hang out, and take him back. So that day, of course, a blackout happens and everyone is just a little on edge, including John.
Did we all think that he was going to get stabbed going up those stairs with the other guy who wanted to leave?
No, I thought he was going to get trapped and then he wouldn't be able to get down to his mom and he wouldn't be able to get to his brother. That's kind of where I was at. I was like, you're going to get locked in there.
I didn't think
shut down.
I didn't think he was going to get stabbed.
No,
But I knew.
I don't know.
I
just
thought something was going to happen
It
in
is.
there
we found out how fucked up like things are in there when his brother gets beat to shit
and loses
gets
his
blinded.
eyesight. Yeah, I'm thinking like, what do they do for that? And I guess nothing.
Or
There's
who do
nothing
you
you could
sue?
do, right?
I bet you have to sign some shit that says if something happens in here, it's not our fault.
Right.
Probably.
And he seems like so like coherent enough to know like that's not right, but he's still living there.
I could hear his voice while reading this too, but that was the
Who's
second
that?
read because the first read that I did on this one, I did not see who wrote it. I was like, ooh,
Wait, who
I
is
just
this?
read it and I was like, that's kind of cool, interesting.
Who's-
Oh my.
Who is this? Who is this person?
He's an actor. Oh my god, you'll know once you see
A few
his
of them are,
face.
right?
Yeah, there's a lot of like actors.
Oh, that's the guy.
the comedians.
That's
Okay.
him?
Now, okay. Can
The
I
guy
see?
from like church. This guy.
Mr. Deeds.
Yeah, that's him.
Yes, so he, yeah. I don't know why
That-
you said it like that, but yes.
Well, I
Yeah,
don't
he
know now.
plays
Like,
the
if
butler
I
in Mr. Deeds.
well, I think of him from like Transformers. I know there's like a lot. He's done a lot, but I don't know. I think
Sneaky,
I'm
sneaky.
I feel like I feel like I'm glad I didn't know who it was because I think if I were to have read it picturing him, I would have pictured it more comedic than I should have.
Yes, because he's fucking funny.
Yeah, so I'm glad I didn't
Oh, gosh.
know who it was reading it.
Yes, so I read it first through, and then I was
Okay.
like, at the end when I saw who it was, I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" And I read it again, and I was like, "Oh, okay, good for you." So, needless to say, the only thing that is open during a blackout is the Italian pizzeria because they have a wood fire.
Brick oven, yeah.
That's so
We got a
funny.
brick
He's like, of
oven.
course they're open.
Of course we're open. We got
Well-
warm soda and hot
And of
pizza.
course,
Well,
the brother wanted ice cream.
Yeah.
And then the brother wanted.
But the
fucking-
mom was like
Okay.
at the burger place was like, why are you guys not open? They're all confused. Like,
That was so funny.
you can still work. Like, why? Like, why are you not doing
fucking
this?
feed us? Like, I don't understand. I love that he was like getting more and more panicked, and then he ate his food. And he's like, it was a good moment. Gotta love fucking pizza for that. Speaking of which, y'all got.
Well, I like when his brother was even like, "So you get a lot of material from me, huh?
I
Like,
love
what would
that.
you do without me? Like,
What would you do without me?
enough to
Right as
realize
his
that.
moment of contemplation was like, well, what am I gonna do when I gotta fucking deal with this on my own? You'll still have more material. You'll be fine.
Interesting. That's
That was good. It was a good, like, clear moment for his brother.
Now I
And
feel
Oh,
like
yeah.
I need to reread it.
what?
right.
I feel like it's going to come across differently now that I know that it's an actual actor.
Even though we don't know who he is, but it
Yeah.
does make it
He kinda
different.
went
Well,
through a lot, I mean.
understanding that it's like, I don't know, you could put an actual face.
Face. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It was interesting too because his history is that his dad is, has post-traumatic stress syndrome from being in the war,
Mhm.
and was kind of rough on them growing up. And then as he started diminishing, his brother's mental health started kind of taking like a major nosedive, causing all kinds of problems in their house, down to him setting their house on fire. So it was just kind of like, gosh, it's amazing the kind of people who come from such rough backgrounds and situations, and to see what they do with their life after can be such an incredible, bit of information that kind of sometimes maybe forces us into rethinking our own shitty moments. Like, is this going to be the moment that I just like say fuck it all? Or is this going to be the moment that I then like,
oh, what you trying to share?
what are you trying to share? Thank you, Dominique, for showing.
Wow, there it is.
For
There it is,
parents.
Des. Yeah, sharing the fireplace.
Right there. Right there.
Oh, there we go. What
That
are
is
we
so
reading this
silly.
week?
What it picks up and what it doesn't. That's so silly.
They're short stories,
This
and they're
month,
really fun.
we're reading The Moth Presents All These Wonders. It is a series of true short stories that have been put together after The Moth, this company, has all these people do like a kind of open mic night to tell a story. So what they did is they've collected all these stories from like the early 2000s up until, I don't even know, like maybe 20, do you even know? The 20 teens. we'll say.
I don't know, because there's multiple books too.
And there are several books by
they're kind of themed.
And a game. And there's a game.
And there's a
There is
game.
a game.
Yeah.
It's kind of what Tosh is doing. It's a bunch of prompts in the game. I actually meant to get it. It's in my cart and I never checked out.
Yeah. So we're reading this book throughout the month. We, obviously as usual, divided it by 4, and we're just kind of reading a series of short stories each week. So this is one of my favorite reads we've done together. I've already recommended it to several people. Aw, what a good start to the year.
Yeah.
Go Anna. Go Anna. Nice choice, bitch. I like it. It's different from what we've done. And I do like that our theme this year in my genres era is going to take us across so many different genres, including these true stories that we haven't done before. We do a lot of fiction. So I think it's going to be a really good year because we do have a couple of extra things coming up. So that'll be a little different. Some will be kind of familiar and some will be a little different. But I do like this one. It's also interesting for me to kind of get to know some of our favorite actors or stand-up comedians or, any personality whatsoever, just to find out what their history is and what they've done since then. Like, they're just like little lumps on a log. They go through some shit. And then they fucking soar after. It's like, good for you. Good for you. Anyway, I've really liked this one.
Yeah. Well, to Real D, you can still read and stream and say you're reading our books while you're streaming.
Yeah.
And send them our way.
Too. I mean, I'm sure that there's things that you can relate to and chime in with. And so, we're just glad to have you here.
Yeah, we always enjoy your company and your input here. It's almost like a diary. It kind of is. Yeah, you're definitely getting these like intimate moments that people typically wouldn't share. And I think our next story, I think, is from the person who actually founded the Moth open mic stories.
That's so crazy.
Altogether. So, Coming of Age in a Mausoleum.
Yeah, the founder.
About the founder. He didn't put together this book. So this book was put together by Catherine Burns. I guess they set up these open mics kind of all around the world. They have several of them. If anybody is interested, they have several of them across the United States that you guys can actually join.
The world.
And you can go in across the world, right?
You just go to the Moth.
Yeah, you can go to the Moth, their website. And so this guy started it where he just kind of set up these, open nights where people can tell a story. And that's it. And then he collected his, then he had one of his night directors collect the stories and edit and then put them all together. So Catherine Burns, she is at the end of some of these stories because they each kind of coincide with a different night's theme. So you'll go to maybe one in New York and that night's theme is
here.
Coming of Age.
It was all the places to go recently.
Right. So you can check them by state and country and see if there's one local enough to you to go tell your night or tell your story. It's open to everyone. You can just go and listen. You can go and tell a story. And it's not like it's predetermined who's going to speak. The only thing is what the theme is for the night. So one of the directors, Catherine Burns, decided to collect them and put them all together in a book press. And there are now several books. I think 2 more. I could be wrong. At least one.
There's one on the 24th in LA.
There is one on the 24th in LA.
No. Is there?
Yeah, there were
There's a bunch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Anna.
I don't remember when the next.
This is your
You don't have to go tell a story.
I'll drive. I'll drive you. I'll drive.
I don't know how to drive.
I know you know how to drive. You drive everywhere. I'm just letting you know I'll drive you.
You can go listen.
Yeah, I'm good.
I think Anna really just doesn't want to go out with me.
It gives us so much to talk about instead of dissecting one story. Yeah, what's interesting with our one story dissections is that sometimes, we hit a point where we're like, maybe something really isn't majorly happened in the story yet. And so we're kind of waiting for that big thing. But we always seem to find our way, don't we? All right. So Coming of Age in a Mausoleum is a rough story about a kid's rough past. His parents are pretty shitty. So he runs away from home to an even shittier place, which is interesting. And meets some pretty interesting characters. A woman who tells him he needs to go home all the time.
And loves her for
He's
it.
a great friend. And definitely cares for him. And then it clearly
Colorful?
colorful, is that the right word? Interesting character who is probably double his age and lives in this kind of drug house that he's currently residing in, but he's so enigmatic he can't leave. Very interesting. So they both get kicked out at one point because they're not, little dirtbags like everybody else there, and live in a mausoleum at the cemetery, which is interesting.
and he was loving it. What did he say? What was his phrase? Like, you're
buying into it.
Buying into it.
Yeah. And I think that, this older gentleman loved that this kid just didn't buy into everything. It wasn't like this big drug addict just because he lived in a drug den. He didn't just kind of fall for everything. But I think once he realized that this kid was falling for this lifestyle, even in his mental state that was not sound, I think he understood that this kid was buying into it and he didn't want him to go there. And I think that that's why he got himself caught the next day after that conversation. Because he never showed up again. He just saw him getting carried away. And I think he knew, I don't want this life for you and you don't need to go here.
Yeah. He knew to go back home.
That was a pretty incredible thing for him to do. A good moment of clarity, even in obviously a mental spiral that he had been in for who knows how long. So, ooh, I'd go with you if I lived nearby.
I'd go with you too, Deanna.
Regina's dead.
I'll give you some eggs.
Here we go.
To do some homesteading with. Oh my goodness. Okay. Next story, we have, I think, just a couple more, and then we want to get to our own stories.
We're at the neighbors downstairs. That was heartbreaking.
The neighbors downstairs. That was rough. That is a story of, what drug addicts go through. And sometimes it's rough, and sometimes they have a good ending, and sometimes
what they go through, and then
what they put their children through.
And then how you want to help, but you can't sometimes.
Yeah. I thought that was such an incredible story about putting your foot down. Because I think that it's on so many of us. We deeply want to help. And when you hear a story like this, you're like, okay, how can I help? Because we're obviously kind and decent human beings. We do want to help in some way. But do we want to overextend ourselves to the point of danger?
That puts our family.
Yeah.
It's one thing endangering yourself.
Really good story about not overextending yourself. Being there for your fellow human beings, but also not letting them overuse that to the point where you're then in danger.
Because that's what he was like, I can go out, but what would that do? Would that put me in cuffs? Would and then he pictured his daughter alone, being carried away.
Not only that, but who's been in a situation where, just like him, you wanted to save the little girl and be there for the kid. So it's who's been in a situation where you've known a family like that, and all you want to say is, just let me keep the child. Let her stay with us until you get
absolutely.
Oh my God. And they're the most frustrating moments.
I literally experienced that, and it ended up turning out very, very badly. But we did foster a girl for a period of time whose mom was in a bad place. Eventually, she got herself to a good place. Her history of trauma is pretty bad. So, of course, it led her to abusing alcohol and drugs. Her daughter was taken away. We had her for a period of time. And then she was doing very, very well. Very well. We were so proud of her. Couldn't have been bigger champions. To the point where we then were offering to watch her so that she could go to work when she finally got her daughter back. So her daughter was released from our home to her. And she got her back, and we would still visit with her. We would take them out. I would babysit, all of that. It was incredible. I thought we had this great relationship until her social worker was calling me for check-ins and asking how things were going. And I was like, I already have a relationship with your social worker from previous things. So she was like, I don't want you telling my social worker anything. I'm not going to let my daughter be near you anymore. And I was like, I'm not telling her anything, but I don't know what your social worker is getting. They're getting their information. She was getting it just from the other people that she lived in this kind of, she lived in a women's shelter.
Kind of like the story where he was like, you didn't need to call the
More of
police.
like a women's like apartment kind of series of, you know, housing. So it was all women and they all kind of helped look out for each other. They would babysit each other's kids when they could. But anyways, needless to say, she eventually was like, I don't know. I don't really trust it. So I'm just going to like utilize the services we have here. It's fine. That's fine. We let it go. But I didn't hear from her for a long time. And I did check on her occasionally and turned out that she did overdose and she died. And her daughter was actually not only released, obviously, to state care, but was put in what we no longer actually have, which was kind of like an orphanage. She was just put in like a house for kids. She was 3.
Why did they contact you guys since she had already been in your home prior?
Right. Why didn't they? We don't know. We still don't know to this day.
That's because that's too much work for them. That's too much work. That's too much having to read and look up
during that time,
information.
she was complaining about this social worker who was always trying to get that information, and she always blamed the social worker for wanting more information. So she decided to get her case changed from this county to that. So she changed counties. And so the new information was over there. So our information wouldn't have been part of the new county. And her old social worker didn't even know about this for like a year after she died. But yeah, it was pretty interesting. So she ended up going to a family member, even though her family was quite estranged. She had been adopted and had, you know, a pretty rough life. And she was then estranged from her family because her trauma kind of led her down this path of making bad choices. Well, she ended up, you know, losing her life. And then I guess this brother that she'd had from growing up ended up taking her daughter. But this kid was in like just some random, like, I don't know, I guess they consider it more like an orphanage for like, I don't know, a few months. It was rough. I was like, you could have called us.
Mm-hmm.
But then what would happen? Who knows? I don't know.
Well, by then you'd closed your home, though, right?
Then? Yeah. What if she had called us before then? Who knows? But needless to say, sometimes we stick our necks out a little too much. And I'm glad that we were not caught up in anything in that situation that could have, you know, been a problem. But that was a rough one.
That's when Avery was a baby, when I was over at my then partner's house. I woke up to the dad beating the shit out of the 14-year-old boy. Everybody else was like sleeping through it. I woke up, but Avery was a baby, and what was I going to do? Like, he was bloodied and everything, and nobody believed what happened. And so Avery and I stayed at the house until early morning. I left and called the police when I left because I was so afraid that something like what you're talking about, like, why'd you call the police? I was so afraid to do something when Avery, she was like 6 or 7 months. I was 21, yeah. Like, she was so little, and I didn't have anybody, I think, what is it, like 90 minutes from you guys?
Right. Yeah.
Something like that. So it's not like it's close, right? And so I waited until I never talked to them again. It was so fucking scary. And they blame me, but the cops did nothing because the boy ended up lying about what happened. Because at that point, like, he knew he could get whatever he wanted, right? Because the dad wasn't going to get, or the boyfriend wasn't going to get arrested. He got fucking everything at that point. So, but it was scary as shit when it happened.
Rough. Yeah. When you're like, do I get involved? Am I seeing the signs? Like, what is it? What do I do next? I don't know. Anyway, rough stories. All right. Undercover in North Korea with its future leaders. That was an interesting story for this gal who doesn't realize that she's kind of like, she's there to get some information about a lost family member. And in the midst of trying to immerse herself, she almost finds herself doing the same things that everyone there is doing, which is just protecting their leader.
Mm-hmm.
And that is number one to their culture and to that country. And that's just the way it is. Nobody questions it. And it is like a sad thing to watch happen. And she's like, oh my gosh, what if I start to rub off? But she really wants the information. But she's like, I don't want to do anything to jeopardize these children who in the end still get kind of carted off to become soldiers what a rough one. Like, you think you're going to go there and you might get some information that might help you learn something about your family member, and you find that you're just trying to like then protect them anyway, and you kind of follow along and just do what they all do.
Mm-hmm.
I can't imagine having to go through that. I'm glad that we don't. But
Right? Oh.
ugh.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I hear stories. Well, yeah, you hear stories of people talking about when leaving North Korea, and you're just like, it's
Yeah.
mind-boggling. Like,
Yeah.
mm.
Yeah. Oh, the night theme for that one was interesting.
What's
The
that one?
Razor's Edge, the moth at the Festival of Dangerous Ideas. Yeah, bitch, that was
Oh,
a dangerous idea.
Yeah.
That's it.
Let me go to North Korea.
I love looking at the title, like the theme for the night at the end of each story. I'm like, ooh, what was the theme? And then I'm like, you know what? Maybe I should go back and like watch these, but maybe I'll do that after we finish the book because I kind of.
Well, they have videos of.
They do.
it.
You can watch.
Are they all recorded?
They are all recorded. I don't.
I
know
feel
how
like that. I wonder. I do want to watch some because I wonder if their inflections of talking will
Yeah,
come.
if it's the
Obviously, will be
same.
really different from how I read it.
Yes. So the person who put it together, Catherine Burns, she did edit it because some of these were told, you know, they're told live. And they collect those stories, but the way that you would tell a story versus the way that you would write a story and read it on paper is not the same. So she did edit them to be put on paper. She's going to remove all the ums and the pause for laughter and all the little things that you might add because you're in front of an audience and you want to kind of embellish it to make it just a little more exciting. So she definitely had to then edit it for paper, but all the stories there are the same.
Right.
If they're just slightly altered.
Oh, that makes sense.
But yeah, so you can actually go and watch all of these. Obviously, you can go visit one and choose to share that night based on their theme. Or
oh no, we can go visit one.
What do we?
I would like to go. You just, I need to super plan in advance so I can like drive.
Wednesday's not super
however
advanced.
many hours. Oh yeah, it's a Wednesday, so that's great.
Yeah, my Wednesdays are wild.
Wednesday's an interesting day. I don't know why. It's like the middle of the week. All right. Next, we have my grandfather's shoes.
I love that story.
That one was cute.
I loved that story.
Yeah. That was interesting. That was about growth. Definitely. And maturity.
But you could see how much love and respect he had for his grandfather when he fessed up to it and just like
right away.
Like that's me to my mom. Like if I upset my mom or I feel like I hurt her by an action, like that kills me more than anything. She doesn't have to yell at me, talk to me, punish me. Like I punish myself.
Well, he's telling his friend, he's like, oh, I'm going to lie. I'm going to say this. And when his grandpa's like, hey, what happened? He's like, immediately, I took it.
Done. Yeah. And he said, did you get someone pregnant? I died. Like, no, just one pair of shoes.
I just stole church money to buy myself some shoes. That was incredible. That was a really good circle of a story. I was like, well done. And by the way, this was a child telling it.
Yeah.
16, was it? 16?
He was 16.
Still a child.
Yeah, he was a child. He was 16 when he
was reading that. I was like, were you really that age? I want to watch that one.
Yeah.
Right.
It'd be interesting. It's cool.
But I love how at the end too, what was it, the grandmother?
Yeah. He was like, what'd you do with the money?
Like,
what'd you do with the money in his mind?
Well, no. I mean, I like how at the end, like they made it a point to let him know that basically the money that he gave paid for his suit and shoes, because it just shows that like the family wasn't petty. They understood the lesson that he was learning from this and how much he loved his grandfather. And I think they knew that would mean more to him than anything else. Like, look at what you did, what you've done for your grandfather. Now you've dressed him.
Yeah.
And that's where that money
went. Because he
said,
and I was mad at my grandma because I knew she had the money and I didn't know what she did with it.
That was pretty incredible. She turned it back around and, he obviously made up for his wrongdoings. And then it was turned around in such a profound way for a child. to get to see
Mhm.
and experience. So, way to apologize for a dirty deed.
Right. But
Right.
he did. And he
He
and
did.
the grandpa said you will make up for it, and he did on his own accord.
I love that. Yeah, he was like, I needed to do this thing, and so I did. And then he passed away right
Yes.
after that. And then,
Right.
I gained back his trust. The most important thing, I gained back his trust.
That's all
That's
he
a
wants.
pretty incredible thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know I fucked around in my teen years, and I'm sure my mom didn't trust me much. I'm not sure I ever earned it back, but
He probably did now. I'm sure he does
Desiree,
now.
she had to follow that. So. Hey, y'all know because you were there. So
Dominique.
Hey, Desiree knew how to play the car. She's like, I'm not, like I'm not the same.
right.
Secondborns know how to act.
Yeah.
Because we were so
Oh my
sweet.
goodness.
Well, we
right.
just saw what they did, and we knew do it differently.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, okay. I think we can skip. What is this one? Leaping.
The prom one.
What was leaping forward? I don't even know. Oh, that was the story of the mom who thought that her child was coming out. And while they did come out to start, which I think was just testing the waters, ended up coming out as transgender. And that was kind of a cool story of one mother's loss turning into what loss actually means to a human being. Like, did you lose a person or did you lose the idea of that person? And so that was a really incredible story where she kind of had to learn and had to be put in her place by a mom who had actually lost her child. Great story. I thought that was a really great way to kind of learn that sometimes loss is not really the same as what you think it is until you have to hear about someone else's.
Yeah, but at the same time, we have to remember, like, it doesn't diminish how
What
a
she
parent
felt.
might feel,
Yeah.
because even though, yes, it's not as extreme as, you lost your child and you'll never be able to see that person
No.
again. As a parent, you fantasize about your kid's future, right? And what
Yeah,
that's
you
going to look
still
like
need
and
to-
different things. And so you have to, I think people need to understand that. Now,
Loss comes
obviously,
in different
there's
ways.
extreme situations, right? There's some parents that just do not accept whatever.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And there's some that are. But even though they're accepting, I think the child or the person that is giving this news needs to allow that parent to still have their mourning, because
Yeah, a grieving process.
you are grieving, this future that you saw for your child.
Right.
You now have to, it's just as, this person is going through this within themselves for sometimes years, and
Yeah.
they're processing this for years to the point where they
Before they
finally
come out.
then say it, where now as the parent, you're getting all this news at once. And I think I'm going to say kids, right? If it's a teenager, and I think some kids just expect it to be accepting and that's it. And it's like, no, now you have to give them their due time. Let them process, let them grieve. And that grieve is okay. That doesn't mean that they don't accept you,
Right.
but let them process.
I do think that like the process of going through that is super important for obviously many, many reasons.
Right.
But as you said, this child has already been thinking like, I know myself and I know these things about me and maybe this is it. So I think I'm just going to test it out. And then this isn't it. But obviously she responded well. So I'm going to go ahead and hit her with the big stuff.
Yeah.
But, we didn't get the child's side of it. So we don't know what like happened between that information and the mom kind of finally getting to grieve and understand that it wasn't a physical loss, but an emotional, like spiritual kind of future loss, as you said. I mean, we have our kids and we bring them up and we just hope that all these incredible things happen in their future and that they're kind and that they're, taken care of by someone who loves them. and that people are kind to them and that they have all these wonderful things and that they get every dream that they could ever come up with, right? And you don't think of their life as having these like major stepping stones that you then have to like take a step back from.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like,
because there's a lot of decisions that as a parent you're not going to agree with, and it's tough. But I just think that sometimes that's lost, that a parent giving them time to grieve or just process is all of a sudden viewed as not accepting, and I don't think that's true.
Yeah,
it's not true. It's just
not all. No, and I think that a lot of people think of it that way. Like, okay,
Right.
hold on, let them have their moment and let them
Right.
process and let them come back. See what they do when they come back. Then you can fucking judge them.
Right.
But I think we've all kind of been there, and we've all had a moment with our parents, even where maybe like, okay, we should have let them like kind of process some information before they came hard at us. But anyway. That was an interesting story. I liked it. I thought it was a good moment between mother and daughter that became mother and son, and obviously teaching that we all have to grieve some things, even if it's not just the death of a person. Mm-hmm. Sometimes the death of what you think their life would be, if they stayed exactly the same as you expected. All right, prom. That was the story of racism. In
that story got me upset.
The prom?
Yes. Oh.
So, I don't know if you guys know, but the writer, Hassan Minhaj,
who is that? Do we know who that
actor,
is?
TV personality, etc.
Which one is it? Now I gotta look him up.
Who actually got in trouble for this story.
Why?
Because it was slightly changed.
Exaggerative?
Yeah, exaggerated. So he got called out by someone, that cutie pie. He got called out by someone who said that his story was completely fabricated.
What was he in?
He
I don't recognize him.
He's a comedian now, I think.
He's a comedian. Okay.
Now, would it have been fabricated by her family?
Actor. He's been in a few things. Hold on. What else has he been in? Does it say? I don't know. He's been in. It doesn't say. Oh, he was in Arrested Development. Getting On.
Arrested Development?
Yeah.
I don't recognize him from anything.
Anyway, so his story is that he encountered, obviously, racism in his high school years. And the entire story is true.
Well, not to diminish his high school years, but it was just through one family. Right?
Right. This was kind of his experience.
Oh, well, a little girl and then his family.
Right.
Or there another family. Sorry. Go on.
Daily Show, yes. So he kind of got canceled for a hot minute because somebody tried to call him out and say that it wasn't true, any of his story. But the entire story was true. For the story, he said that it all went down on prom night.
Right.
In actuality, it was just a few days earlier. So it was like he, got kind of shut down by her family and said, like, you don't fit the bill for our prom photos, so you can't take her.
Oh, so he never showed up. So the whole bike ride
on prom night.
So he never took his puppy bike.
Right.
And did he really play video games in his suit?
I don't know.
He wouldn't have.
Really.
He might have. So then he felt like, hey, I'm a part of it. I look nice. Like he could have.
Yeah. So he didn't go, and it was obviously the same situation. The girl whose family is in the story, she did come out and say all of that is true. So,
wow.
Yeah. So he kind of got kicked off of taking over. I think it was like the Trevor Noah show, whatever his show was. It was the Daily Show. Was it the?
No, he was on that one.
But he was supposed to take it over when Trevor Noah was exiting. He was one of the people who were going to take it over, and he ended up not getting to because that came out at that time.
Because he lied about his story.
Because this gal said he completely fabricated the entire thing, and that he uses racism to boost his career. But basically, he does what everyone does when telling a story. He used pretty language. And
I'm so
Yeah,
confused.
but
So-
I think he was trying to make it sound more like gut wrenching, like it happened on prom, and he would. But you should have just told the truth. You still were planning on going to prom. You know,
Yeah.
you had everything ready, and you still faced the same criticism.
Right.
So
yeah.
Well,
if
it was
only
probably
he had not
like
worried about the dramatics of it, you know.
it was probably like
it
he's
wouldn't
up
happen.
there and he wanted the story to sound just a little bit better.
I'm so curious. Like, how did they find out the truth about this? Because there's no fucking way that they
Well,
go
it
and
was- it was-
research everybody's stories.
Because he does a lot of stand-up, a lot of people are like challenging his stories and saying that he just does them for
Well, it was probably the girl or her family.
This is probably not the only time he told this story.
The girl
No,
and the
he's-
family probably know him now. They're like, oh, that's the guy. And listen, they're like, oh, wait, we were crappy, but we weren't that crappy.
Well, who knows? No, it wasn't that family. It was this gal.
Oh, it was
Somebody
what?
else who's, like,
Okay.
someone else is like dead set on like exposing him in some way. I don't know.
See, that's hard. That's hard.
He tells a
so
lot of
hard.
stories, and don't forget, for a stand-up comedian, they are going to extremely over-exaggerate a story to make it more interesting to their audience. That's that.
See, I'm sure there's some
Yeah, but this
truth.
is
for
not a
hitting this
stand-up
up there. Thank
comedian.
you. That'll
I'm
bring-
sure there's some truth to it, like you said, and people do goes a
The
little
entire
extra.
story was true, except for the fact that it didn't happen on the day he said.
Well,
it
then that's not true because that
Yeah.
diminishes like him getting on the Huffy bike and riding, and it does change like
happened. If you think
being
about it that way, yeah.
being at the door ready to go to prom, pick her up, and you're so excited because you just
Oh, it's so
snuck
good.
out. It does make it because that does give it more like a more heart
Right.
wrenching, like oh.
It
Right,
can
I'm
be,
saying.
yes. And I think
It's still heartbreaking. It's still something you don't want to experience, and no child
Right.
should
but
experience.
is this more palatable because it happens on that day for you in this story?
Yeah, it is.
Is it more?
It's like a
Because
rite
Because
of passage.
then he was
Mom.
able to say, "So I just played Mario Kart in my suit."
I
I
get
did
it.
not play
That's
Mario
what
Kart in
But
his
he
suit.
part of the
he took away a
story.
lot of his own credibility by adding
Yeah.
fluff to the story. That
But
didn't
now,
need to
but
be
now
there.
we're assuming that those people are
Right.
right and he's wrong. We don't know who was true. Who's
Well, the girl
Apparently
came
the
out
girl
and
in
said
the
that
story came and said it was
it did
true.
happen.
oh,
It
she
just
did
didn't
say
happen
She
in that
came and said that
timeline.
it was true.
Right.
It's a completely true story.
So-
it was shitty, but it's true.
but not on prom night. So he did
was
not
different.
play Mario Kart in his suit on prom night.
Well, maybe
You
that's
don't know
probably
that.
he decided to put his suit on and play Mario
He
Kart.
wouldn't put
That's
his
not
suit on
true.
for
Who
Mario
knows?
Kart.
He bought it
I
for-
know.
I put my prom dress on to play Tea Party in a photo for our calendar.
But that
like
was
3
for
years
a
ago.
reason. You would not have done it to
I
play
had a
Mario
group of
Kart.
girlfriends that we put our formal dresses on to go to Coco's.
Exactly.
We went to Starbucks my freshman year. That was
Hold
my-
on. I just want to point out that if the most important part of this story was the fact
Right.
that he played Mario Kart in his suit, I think you missed the point of the story.
I did not miss the point.
Well, no, she's just
Racism.
mad that it wasn't as like
I didn't miss the point. I've had
Heartbreaking as-
experiences.
Okay, I
I've
know
had
that,
my
and
own
that's why I'm like,
experiences of
why?
like being out with my friends and them
Right.
being treated differently and getting different reactions. I was like, and I was like, shit, it's because you're white.
it's
And they looked at me. They're like, no. I'm like, dude, yeah, it is.
Yes, and it still happens, and that is the point of the story. It's just that, like, obviously,
But I do know people who exaggerate as well. I know both sides, so I'm like, I get
Right.
pissed off at both
but
sides.
also it could be that you're from a different position on this, like you have experienced it, and so maybe you're pointing out the things that don't necessarily stand out to the rest of us, but they do to you.
Yeah, you don't like just be real.
yeah.
Right.
Tell the
Being
story for
real
what
is
it is.
super
Because
important.
that little
No.
tidbit was like that tidbit was the heartbreaking moment where he was like in his suit. And I'm like, wait a second. When I heard that that's not,
Mhm.
it does make a difference for me. It does. I don't know
I
why.
think the suckiest part about that story is it wasn't even by his peers; it was by a bunch of grown-ass adults.
Well, see, I take that as not being a sucky.
Bingo. That's interesting.
I take that as a higher point to know that, like, hey, I'm living in a new generation, and it wasn't her, it was the family, and they're
Yeah.
assholes, and this new generation, we're
It's different.
getting past it, and you
I
can
like
see the growth.
Yeah, but if that was me and I had my prom date and Nana or whoever made those kind of comments, I would basically be like, well, too fucking bad. Don't send the photo out. And that's my date.
Well, yeah, no,
So,
I get
Anna,
that point,
hold
but
on. You need to understand that Anna is not the same kind of person that the rest of humankind.
well, no, I get what Anna would say, but it's what I'm saying is the effect of what they, not how you respond, but the effect of what they did is different.
Maybe,
You
but
can't, like, you can react differently than what he reacted, but you can't change how they responded.
well,
and
no,
how
I
they
think
res-
that is the whole point of this is to try and change how people do respond and to
Well,
try and teach them.
well, not
that
necessarily
this
change
is
how they
fine.
respond, but leave the newer ones and learn, because some can't change.
No, some really can't. And
Right.
luck-
But I'm
But-
saying that, but that's the saddest part is that these adults, it's one thing if it was a group of kids to a kid, his peer, right? Because they're adolescent, they're gonna grow up, they're gonna know the difference. These are grown ass adults
Yeah,
still have this shitty ass mindset,
Yeah.
and they're showing their kids that it's
Yeah.
okay to have this mindset. That's what I'm saying is the saddest part of the whole story.
oh, I see. Okay, yeah. Not a saddest part of the story, not the saddest part for him.
No. Just of
Oh,
the
okay, of the story. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
yeah.
I agree with that. I thought you meant status for him.
oh no.
Oh, okay. I can.
No, he
Speaking
lied.
of
Fucking right there.
saddest, but also bring cheese made me cry.
Asshole.
Yeah. All right. I'm with Anna. I'm not going with this milquetoast boy just because you want some pictures. Fuck it. I'm out of
Oh,
here.
you're talking about the girl. The girl should have said that. Yeah.
Fuck out of here. I love when people
Well,
say
I think
fuck outta
Teen's
here.
saying for herself, right? Like she's not gonna
Yeah. Or
No,
that's what the
go off the
girl
prom with
on
some
the
white
girl's
boy.
side.
Yeah. Like
Which
she
she
would
could
have
have
said,
done.
no, I'm not going to go with this dude that you approve of.
Yeah.
Like I have a connection with this kid.
Mhm.
There's a difference. Yeah. Ugh. All right. Our final story this week is called But Also Bring Cheese. A
Oh.
super important thing to know in pretty much all scenarios is But Also Bring Cheese. The story
I would like my deathbed to be like that.
a little girl who goes through life, loves her parents. Specifically, her mom is now dealing with cancer, and she now has to kind of take the role of her mom in dealing with it, which is interesting. And decides to bring everybody around to give her kind of a final goodbye. It ends up being a kind of profound moment for her. And in every situation you get yourself into, just know, bring cheese.
Done.
Anna is like, I'm going to bring goat cheese.
Goat cheese.
Done.
I was waiting. I was like, do they just mention goat
I
cheese
know.
anywhere?
When I read the title, but also bring cheese, I was like,
Right
I know.
along ostriches for their ostrich cheese.
Yeah, I
They
know
have
what cheese
ostrich-
Anna is bringing. She's not bringing ostrich cheese.
No,
It's going to be
I'm
goat
just
cheese.
saying.
I'll make some ostrich cheese.
This one got me. Hits close to
Ew.
home. Yeah.
What does it hit close to home? Oh.
It's rough. Having to kind of go through those final moments with a loved one, whether it be a parent, a grandparent, as we know, because Teen shared that with us.
Oh, the grand. Yeah.
You know, you get sometimes you get your chance to say goodbye, sometimes you don't. Desiree and I kind of had a wild moment with losing our grandmother when we were old enough to really understand what was going on, and it was different for both of us, completely different.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
You
it
would
was.
think that we weren't even in the same room. That's how different it was.
Wow.
It was wild. Like she and I both were like, how do you remember it like that? Like, I don't know. It's just when you're experiencing like the loss of anyone that's close to you, a grandparent, a parent, a sibling, whatever it is, like, you know, people are going to experience it different. And she and I are sisters who were literally in the same room, experienced all the same things at the same time, but what we took from it was totally different. What we saw, what we smelled, what we heard. All
Well,
of
see,
it.
that reminds me of like how we talk about those books, or of hearing it from everybody's point of view. It's so different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
It's so
perspective
different.
is pretty interesting when it comes to the things that happen in life, especially losing a loved one. Teen made me fucking cry last week with her story because that was pretty rough. Losing her grandfather,
But like it was rough, but it was. I don't mean to be insulting, but it was sweet at the same time. It was sweet that
so sweet. Oh my
like,
gosh!
and I hate to be that person to like what a to say what a fortunate moment to have.
So this one was not. This one
That's
hitting home was not about your grandfather. I get it. Okay, this was about.
Oh,
Aw, that is rough. You start wondering what the future's going to look like without them. Well, that's never going to happen. So,
never.
Yeah.
Carol's living forever. I'm just saying.
yeah, none of us are losing our moms. We're all going to die before them. So, that's that. All of us.
Oh,
all of
shit.
you.
We're gonna go on a train
That'll
together.
be the day my mom dies.
We'll
No.
go on an
Well,
airplane
moms are all
ride.
gonna become
Like
bionic
everybody, we're going on an
together.
airplane ride. This pilot.
All our moms are going to become bionic together, and we choose.
I was about to say
Oh.
bionic mom,
Bionic
bionic
mom.
moms.
or they're gonna die like, oh my god, Princess Leia and her mom, the singer, literally a day apart. Mm-hmm.
Oh, so
Yeah.
God. That'd be Anna and her mom. Don't you fucking dare, by the way.
We just
I
gotta
mean,
go all on
I'm-
an airplane together.
Tell your mom. Never die.
Yeah, but that's the plan.
Ugh. Okay.
Well, there is a plan.
By the way, I am so glad to hear that your mom survived it, even if it was barely, because that is a big feat. Quite.
I wonder if it was if the
A lot of
had
people
anything to do with it. Right?
Oh, the grant researcher.
Yeah.
Oh, have you been tested? Did you get the BRCA stuff? They actually tested me years ago. Fibroids, though, because I breastfed my babies. Apparently that happens. It was negative.
I didn't do anything that tested my boobs. Huh?
Wait, they
No,
tested
I was saying you were asking her about the testing. I'd actually had that done because I
Why'd
knew
you have it
obviously
done?
about Aunt Sandy.
Oh,
When
yeah.
I was
Okay.
when I'd had Ben, when I had Ben, I had fibroids. So it was like little teeny tiny boob size, like everywhere. And I was like, what the hell? That's not normal. And so I did the
I see.
You did the testing then?
the ultrasound. And then they fucking smashed my boob. And then I learned about the thermal one later.
Yeah.
I'll never do that again.
A thermogram is what it's actually called.
That hurts so
Thermogram.
fucking much. Like, there's no, like, if any of you, like, for any of us, I mean, your husbands, even if they grab your titty too much, this doesn't even begin to explain the amount of pain that it is when they fucking smash your titty in that machine.
I've never
It's
done that yet. And evidently I don't have to.
It's
So I'm excited.
I haven't
so-
had one.
so
I'm
bad.
now overdue, and you can request a thermogenic scan. From
Yes,
your
I didn't know
doctor.
that.
Thank
I
you
think
for
it's called
sharing that.
A thermogram versus a
Yeah.
mammogram. You can
Yeah.
request it.
You can. However, I do have a coworker that has to get tested every year, and she has done those. But if they see even the slightest little thing that looks
Then it goes
like
to
it
the
could be
other.
you're squashing. You're
You're
Squashing.
squashing.
You're
I love it. You're
squashing.
squashing. Yeah.
I mean,
and
at that
chances are they
point,
will,
though.
because there's a lot of fatty tissue and
Well, I
different
get
things.
it, but like, let me do that before we go to the squashing.
I
Right.
think, yes, less invasive first, I think, is better. I mean, there's no
Yeah.
reason to fucking jump
why
to
I'm down
starting
with
me on
the-
chemo before you have even
good.
the
Oh.
results back, okay?
If I don't wake up every day on
we're
my
good.
back checking my titties, then I'm not even awake. I'm telling you right now, I will know if even a fiber underneath my skin is out of place. I will know because I do it every
So-
morning. I'm obsessed.
Not to be insensitive, but Houston is listening. He sent me a text.
Sean checks his titties.
He
in the
said, "Life
morning,
without
please."
boobs, sad." He's like, "Oh, I'm gonna find that cancer."
Thank goodness for husbands that
Oh my God.
do regular checks.
check,
Do they
1, 2,
check for
3.
ovarian cancer too? With the-
Oh my God.
Yeah, I can't
Yeah.
rely on Sean for that one, because if
Little
I'm
cervical.
not feeling well and I'm like, I don't feel good, he'll reach over, cop a feel, and he's like, "You feel pretty good to me." So I
Squeeze me
can't
hard.
go off of that medical advice.
rough. Your husband over there. I'm listening in. Okay, so your mom got tested genetically. You don't have to worry about it. So that is actually wonderful news. On top of the fact that your mom survived it,
Yeah.
is even better. So.
Oh, that's what I was saying. So it was negative. The BRCA 1, 2. It was negative.
BRCA 1 and 2. Okay.
So you should be good too.
Yeah. And
Well, with that version, with that kind.
Thank you, Mary, for your horrible husband meeting Joe DiMaggio and it leading to incredible research and then several of us being able to find out if we at least
Right?
gene.
Yeah.
So what do we have for our own stories?
So our own stories tonight, we have a prompt. Describe a moment of profound connection with a stranger or someone you didn't expect to connect with. Explore the emotions and insights that emerged from this unexpected encounter. So we have a few sharers tonight. I will be reading one or two of them. Anna will be reading one, and Desiree will be reading one. Desiree, why did I even say Desiree? I saw your face when I said it.
Because you were like scolding me, and that was rude.
So when I say her full name, it fully offends her. Like if I say Desiree, it offends her. So
what should I say? Tasha.
That's weird. Nobody.
Is it?
All right.
That is
That's
weird.
what
But she said it, Tasha, like a fucking dick. So
Because how else do you say it?
Called her Natasha today.
Who
Our
did?
son did.
Husband.
He's so fucking funny. I
My
swear.
phone was ringing, so I was trying to call her earlier.
My
and it
dad
was
calls you
rude.
Natasha.
I know.
Y'all are silly.
You
And
know?
I go, get out of here. I go, I'm calling Tasha. He goes, what are you going to call her? And then she called back. He goes, Natasha's calling. And I was like, what in the hell?
Well, you know my dad calls you Natasha. Does your grandma tell you that?
Yes. But also when I went in, he called me Natasha, and I was like, cool. Okay. I'm gonna turn on my Russian.
You need that accent. Exactly.
I'm gonna turn on my Russian accent for this encounter.
Oh, I'm sorry. He said in his ways.
That's okay. That's okay.
He tries, and then he'll be like,
my name is
"Oh, oops." He'll say "oops," and then his mind. But he comes from like he, yeah.
Your dad
He just thinks that's her proper name.
Well, English is not his first
Or he
language.
said, fuck your name. Now you're
Cancel
Natasha.
mine. What does cancel mine mean? Did you have a story that we need to pull up here? Did you share it? Am I missing something?
That's okay. I had our friend Tracy. I've been friends with her since I've been friends with Tasha, so kindergarten. And my dad forever always called her Stacy. She was not Tracy. She was Stacy. So go figure that one out.
Okay, I'm gonna share a very short one. So I have like a group chat with like my certain moms, and I did the prompt. I was like, who can share me a story? And only one person shared. It was not even a minute. It's like
a haiku.
Not even. They're like, oh, I got this. So I'm just gonna read this because it's very short. While you guys get all your things in order, it's nothing big. She's like, so I shared the prompt. I was like, can somebody share me something so I could read, or you guys could come on? She's like, I'm not sure if it's profound, but I spent a whole flight on my way home from England chatting with a stranger. When I needed to go out to use the bathroom, he didn't move out of the chair like you would expect to let me by. It wasn't until almost the end of the flight that I found out he was actually wheelchair bound.
Oh shit. Well, that'll
And
do
I
it.
was like, so I just responded. I was like, you scared me. I thought you were going to say he was dead. She's like, nope. But I had one of those, it all makes sense now moments. I thought he was rude. She's like, I thought he was rude for about 10 hours. Everyone was climbing over him to get to the bathroom. Then I had to wonder why it hadn't come up in our 10-hour conversation.
I was gonna say, could you imagine if she actually got pissed and was like, dude, like you're so inconsiderate, get your ass up so I can get by the fuck, insert foot here.
Oh my god.
He couldn't insert it because he couldn't get it up.
Wow.
Like,
Careful how you say that.
Such
No, because he couldn't get his foot up. His wheelchair. So,
Well, I mean, it could mean both. Depends on
I-
how.
You can get it out.
I don't know.
Who knows?
we don't know where
Sherry, are you
it
sure
went,
I
where
have
it
your-
worked.
Sherry, I have your story pulled
So
up.
I shared
Read
one. Just
Congrats. That's yeah.
I
Sherry,
love
we
it,
will
Dominique.
read your story right now, unless you're sure you want it canceled. So we will go ahead and read it.
I'm so
Please let us
tickled.
know right away.
I don't even care what anybody else has
Actually,
to say. That
Dominique
was
can
so
read it.
good.
She can read another story.
huh? What?
Dominique can read another story. Mhm.
So
If you go into this post
Oh,
on
yes.
our group, Sherry has hers sent there. She said cancel it, but why? Share it.
Yeah, Sherry. Wow.
maybe
Sherry.
she jumped off.
Share it, Sherry.
Oh my god, so scolding.
Yeah, look, I'm gonna call her Sherry Troiani.
Oh,
so
full
cool.
name.
Whoa.
Full name.
Whoa.
Full name.
Not the full government name.
Wait, why can't I find the post? Is it on?
It's in the group.
Sherry
the-
said she would jump on the live on one of the comments on the.
Well, it doesn't
post.
want to jump on. That's all. Do you want somebody to read your story? We could do that.
I have it up.
She's got it ready. Mm-hmm. Mm.
Well, Tasha, maybe
I'm
you
so
can
tickled.
read Nina's while we wait.
It's trivial.
I'm so tickled.
Hey, trivial is nothing. Just read it, Dominique.
All right. I was
Oh,
sitting next to
You
a
get
woman.
no say, Sherry.
Okay. I'm brown, so it's okay.
Oh,
No.
that card.
Honestly, no.
I was sitting next to a woman getting a pedicure done. My nail tech knew I would be traveling to Cali soon. The woman perked up and asked me where. I told her. We had a brief conversation about different cities her daughter lived in, Santa Monica. It was time for her to leave. We said goodbye. A few minutes later, the woman came back and gave me a card with a name and phone number. She said she really enjoyed our conversation and maybe we could meet for coffee sometime. I was surprised that I had that effect on her. We did meet for coffee once and have not connected since. If you have time for another one, I was staying in Washington State for yoga seminar at a woman's home who was hosting it. My yoga's oh wait, there's more. I didn't open it. Sorry. I was staying in a Washington State for a yoga seminar at a woman's home who was hosting it. My yoga instructor knew her personally. People were coming in at different times. I knew a few of them and some I had never met. I was standing in the downstairs doorway and this woman comes in and says, I couldn't wait to meet you. I was dumbfounded. The rest of the weekend was focused on me. Very powerful weekend for me.
Because she considered not going, and turns out all these people were like super excited to meet her.
Oh, these are two different.
Different stories. Yeah, I
pause.
didn't know about the pedicure story, but this is just Sherry's effect on people. She just rubs people the right way everywhere she damn well goes. She'll be having a conversation over here. Someone over here is listening, and they're like, "Hey, I just need to let you know that I loved your story." And
Also,
she's like,
the pedicure person, I can see like her really connecting and wanting to, but sometimes when you feel like that connection, and then you don't know how to reconnect. You feel awkward,
just
like
fizzles. Yeah.
you feel like we had it good, but like how do I keep this going?
Yeah.
And then you just feel a little awkward. Like, do I make a call? Do I say hey?
Yeah.
And some people
Well,
do, and
sometimes
it's
it's just
amazing.
an in the moment kind of thing.
But yeah, sometimes it is
Yeah.
in the moment.
Well, and if you question whether or not you should do something, clearly Sherry is telling us to do it, because every time
Yeah.
she does, she ends up kind of having a moment, which is a good thing. Sometimes everybody needs to go have that moment.
Those
All
are
right.
good.
So we do have another story. Thanks, Sherry, for sharing.
Yeah.
It is not insignificant. It is not trivial. Moments that make you feel like you should have been there are not trivial. So,
Yep.
No.
and you don't know what it meant to the other people that you were there.
Well, it stuck out enough that you remembered it and you could recall it. So,
Bingo.
means
Bingo.
enough.
I like that too. Okay. So we do have a couple stories. Desiree, are you going to read one? Do you want to read that one right now?
I'll read Nina's.
Okay.
I'll go ahead. I don't like this pop up. I have to read this, guys. Don't test me. Okay.
Just
It's
play
not
the piano
popcorn. It's
afterwards.
not popcorn reading.
Popcorn
You don't have
reading.
to worry. No judgment. No
You knew
judgment.
your assignment.
We might laugh like you always make us during everyone else reading.
I know. All right. 10 years ago, I lived in Miami. It was loud, expensive, and people can be rude or are rude, negative, and just out of this world. It's a pretty unique and wild place to live. Every day, I had the opportunity to walk my son to and from school for 3 years. On the way back from school one day, he asked to play with a friend. It was very difficult for me to connect with other parents because they mostly only spoke Spanish and with strong accents and dialects I was not familiar with. Plus, my skill was not great, and I often got ridiculed for it. As my son played Pokemon on the playground with his friend, I got to talking to the mom. We had a ton in common, our humor, we only had boys, neither of us were native to Miami and did not love it. We at some point found out we both loved to craft, shared the same birth date, and reading tastes. This small impromptu play date led to making a new friend a full month before we were to move. We spent afternoons after school was out together chatting. She even kept my kids over while we had the movers over. I'm glad I made this friend in our neighborhood. I'm sad that I saw her walking her son to and from school every day and never spoke to her until my son asked to play with her son. Our little friendship taught me not to waste time and to talk to people and try to make friends sooner than later. If I had just not been shy, I would have probably made a best friend out of her. Now I make it a point to be friendly and connect with people, even if it's as simple as compliment the cashier at Walmart.
I love it.
Nina's a military wife, so they've
That's
moved.
a hard life.
We move a lot.
Yeah.
No, they haven't moved a lot. They were up here, they were down south, and they were up here, and then he retired. So,
Well, whether you move a
That
lot,
was
people
in
around you move a
20
lot too.
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, the people you connect with might disappear.
If you're fortunate enough to stay, the people around you come and go.
Oh, you're right. That is the right way to put that. Thank you for sharing that story with us, Nina. I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Seize
how
the-
she and I
seize
became
the day.
friends, was because our sons were friends, and we happened to live like maybe 5 minutes apart from each other, if that long, like a quick bike ride apart.
That's good.
So, moral of the story, you can meet a great woman like the one she met in Miami or someone like Desiree.
Mm.
You just never know.
Or
And you just
Nina
gotta talk to
loves
people.
me.
I mean, you
Nina
just gotta
loves
talk
me.
to people and see.
Okay.
Uh,
Nina loves Nina. If you're
not always,
watching,
yeah,
just tell her
not
that
always
you
gonna
love
hit
me.
aces, but yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I don't know if Teen is going to be able to hop on. I just saw that you had a story you wanted to share, so I sent you the link. So get that. In the meantime, I'm going to read a story. So let me pull it up. This story is called A Cross-Country Odyssey of Love and Transformation. So let me read it.
Who's it from?
It is an anonymous
Got it.
donation to
Go
our
ahead.
stories.
Okay.
Anonymous donation to our stories tonight.
Donation.
So let me pull it up. Give me just a sec. Okay. Embarking on a jet plane, I soared away from the tumultuous echoes of a 3+ year relationship, a tempest that reaches climax with a forceful shove propelling me into the tub, my 2-year-old innocently bathing nearby, and the resonance of my head colliding with the unforgiving wall. Living under the roof of my ex's father and stepmother, he was promptly expelled after an emphatic "get the fuck out" escaped my lips, alongside the looming threat of involving law enforcement. Coinciding with this upheaval, my ex's sister sought refuge in her maternal home amid her own separation. As fate would have it, her estranged husband, drawn by familiar connections, crossed paths with the stepmother. While I had only superficial knowledge of their situation, the stepmother, sensing a shared experience, graciously provided him with my number. Daily textual exchanges ensued, evolving into a deep dive into his impending divorce, familiar intricacies, and aspirations for the future. Despite residing in different states, our connection burgeoned through virtual conversations, unveiling a tapestry of shared values and dreams. Fate, however, had a peculiar twist in store. A dilemma surfaced. He needed assistance relocating his car across state lines. The stepmother, ever the orchestrator, deemed me the ideal candidate for this cross-country odyssey. A daunting prospect for someone whose driving escapades had never ventured beyond the neighboring state, compounded by the absence of smartphones, leaving reliance on antiquated paper maps and MapQuest. Undeterred, armed with Discman, a trove of CDs, an arsenal of road trip sustenance, I embarked on a journey spanning 33 sleepless hours and 40 hours of unwavering wakefulness. Navigating the vast expanse of the United States, fueled by a cocktail of Red Bull, 5-hour energy, snacks, and melodies, I persevered. Arriving at my destination, the first embrace transcended the mere physical. I felt like finding a sanctuary called home. A weekend unfolded, unraveling his world, his friends, and a magnetic connection that left an indelible mark. Yet as the weekend's ephemeral glow waned, the reality of departure loomed. Weeks later, amidst ceaseless conversations, another call for assistance arose. Encouraged by that stepmother, I, with my 2-year-old in tow, boarded a plane, an impulsive decision that, unbeknownst to me, would shape the trajectory of my life. Thanks.
There you go.
Beautiful story.
Mm-hmm.
And very fucking romantic.
And I hope
Yeah.
that all worked out fantastic for Anonymous. No, that's cute. But it's one of those things where, like, you can be going about your life, and maybe you're not in the best situation, and you're not even thinking about what's next, right? Or what can be behind the next door. And then something just kind of happens, and before you know it, you wake up and you're like, what in the hell? Like, where did all
Don't
this
read
come
any stories. I gotta go pee. Sorry.
I'm like, well, y'all want me to follow this
from?
eloquent
Dominique has to
worded-
tinkle. Let it up.
You can go whenever you want. You don't have to read next. We do have, I think, 2 more stories, but you can go whenever you feel like it if you're ready. But wait until Dominique gets back.
Yes.
Anyways, I love that story. I think it's an interesting road to romance. Sometimes things just creep up on you. You don't expect them, and then there they are, and they really just engulf the entirety of you. And I think that that's, realistic. And also, this story did not end the same way it started. It started very rough and very violent, and it ended up quite soft and sweet and loving. And that's a really incredible thing for someone to get to experience from beginning to end. And the end is just the start of something new. So,
Yeah.
what do you think, Des?
Huh?
So, and Des, what do you think? I was just asking because Dominique just showed up out of nowhere.
There she is.
I really have.
Oh, what you stuffing your face with over there, Desiree?
Hey,
Did you hear it in between the?
it's always fucking chocolate.
Are those the cherry or the strawberry ones?
No, they're the meltaways.
Oh, the strawberry ones are really good.
I haven't had those. Somebody
Y'all
sent
are
these to me last Valentine's Day, and by the time I got them and opened them,
Okay,
they were all
that's not the
gone.
same bag from last Valentine's.
No, I ate that really fast.
Okay, that's what
No,
I.
but I have probably purchased.
fucking right. You thought the
I-
Desiree lasted.
Fuck no, I've probably purchased like 20 bags of these in the last month.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
But you have to eat them with the rainbow nerd clusters.
Oh, I'm done.
So you don't have to listen to me right away reading the next story. Teen will share, and then I will share, and then Anna will finish up our evening.
Oh, I get to shut her down.
Shut it down. You're good at that. You're good at that because you'll just say goodbye after.
Oh, and then I'll say good night. That's it.
Yeah. Yes. Hey, Dominique, you want to just bring her up in the middle? I can't remember how to do that.
Oh, here.
It'd be
Gotcha,
easier because we got the thing down below.
Like,
The lions.
make it bigger.
Make her big.
Wait,
Yeah,
I'm
that's.
pressing this button
Is it because
Hold
we have
on.
the thing down below? Oh, there you
Not
go.
me.
You
There
can
you
do it.
like that.
There we go. Put you on the stand.
All right. Well, thank you for having me, ladies.
Hey, welcome back.
Always a pleasure to be here.
Long time no see.
Right. So my story's pretty quick this week. After I gave birth to my daughter, which was about 5 years ago, I was severely postpartum depressed. And what nobody really tells you about postpartum depression is that it comes with a lot of anger. So you sort of expect the blues and the no energy and things like that, but I was really angry, and I can't put my finger on why. It was something different every day. But about 8 weeks after giving birth, I ran out of pads, and you still need the pads. And so I'm just angry that I don't have these pads anymore. And I've got to load the baby up, and we've got to go to Target. And I'm just sour. I'm mad. And I get in the car and I start driving, and I'm flipping the radio, trying to find a song that's going to get me out of this funk and just clear my head a little bit. And as I'm pulling up to a stoplight, Paula Abdul straight up comes on the radio. And so, sounds of my childhood, and I am just and windows down. I am just jamming, singing at the top of my lungs as I pull up to this stoplight, and I look over to my right, and there is a human being that is probably the mirror opposite of me, like a very large, dark-skinned man. I'm mom bun, and he is just beautiful and put together, but he is also singing Paula Abdul at the top of his lungs.
No.
We made eye contact, and we knew in that moment at that stoplight that this was a duet. And we were trading lines and going back and forth and just dancing and just having the best time. And, the stoplight goes green and we wave, and we're still kind of singing and dancing, but I was just lighter. I felt like somebody had seen me in that moment.
You had a connection.
And yes, and we made a connection, and I just felt seen and felt like I had this good, positive human interaction with somebody that I will never see again. No idea who that was, but I will never forget it. I will never forget it, because I was just in one of the worst states of being that I've ever been in. And even for a few hours after, I felt better. I obviously did not cure my postpartum depression or anything like that, but it gave me a moment of reprieve. Yeah. And it was very lovely.
That sounds so incredible.
And you needed that moment. You needed that moment. Because that moment, as small as it was, as silly as it sounds, but as fun as it sounds, was much needed.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. That was definitely like a mental health break.
Yeah.
Wow. A lot of people don't talk about postpartum in those ways, as you mentioned. And so it's quite different to obviously experience it versus hearing it. And a lot of people only talk about the sadness.
Yeah, but there's a lot. It's a lot of emotion.
Rage. There's a lot of rage.
A lot of rage.
And it's not even the same with every pregnancy, from what I've seen, with all of my friends and family. It's not the same with each one. So you can't really predict what your body is going to go through, what your hormones will do. And, to have a moment like that where just like you could take a breath and really just be in the moment, in the middle of all of that, emotional, mental, physical turmoil is incredible.
Who would imagine what you would have been like in the store if you didn't have that moment?
Give me the whole
Maybe it wasn't for you. Maybe it was for the people that worked in the store.
Maybe.
Oh, sorry. I don't mean to make light, but like
I'm coming through.
Oh my God, that's so good. I love that. I do appreciate you sharing that, though, because that's something that a lot of people are willing to share about their postpartum, is that they weren't just sad. The anger is something that we're, kind of taught to be afraid of, or also to keep to ourselves. So that's a nice share.
Very true.
Well,
But a small moment. Share your small moments. There's
small moments.
Hey, that it was
I
no.
agree.
I would disagree. I think that's a big moment, just a short time.
It's a
Ooh,
short.
bingo. Yeah.
It was a short time, but that was a big moment.
Yeah. Well done. Thank you.
Thanks,
Do
ladies.
you want to go next or can I go?
You can go.
Okay. All right. We're going to switch this
Opposite.
bitch.
Who's
Yep.
going?
Switch
Oh,
the
got
bitch.
it.
Hello, bitches. This is called A Friendship in 3 Acts.
Is this another anonymous?
I met my best friend. We'll see. I
Oh,
met my best friend when I was 5 years old in kindergarten. We went to a private school where we attended a church every morning and had a very strict uniform to wear. She was everything a young child would want in a friend. Charismatic, inclusive, kind, and had the sense of humor adults wish they could achieve. She was the epitome of cool. As I said, we all had uniforms, but she just wore it better. She had a cool bike shorts underneath hers. Mine were kind of like balloon shorts. She sported the OG Keds, while I wore the little leather shoes that stained her White Sox blue. For these things and many other reasons, I was made fun of for about 7 years while I attended that school. While she was my friend, she never made me feel bad or different. She invited me to parties, sleepovers. She hung out with me on the playground where we got in trouble quite often. At our age, we weren't yet allowed on the big play structure, but it was definitely worth the risk. In class, we'd stand with our noses to the wall for hours, and yet raw noses never compared to the camaraderie. After summer, she disappeared and never returned to school. I was obviously devastated. I didn't have my partner in crime, my cool friend, my buffer against cruel kids. I would never see her again or know if she was okay, and I never made a friend like her thereafter. I tried getting close to other kids. I would get invited when they were forced to invite the entire class, or when the girls had a whole class of girls' slumber party. But at these, I was often picked on, or if they were kind enough then, anything I told them in confidence would be told to the entire class on Monday. Fast forward through most of my awkwardness to high school, where I finally didn't have to wear a uniform ever again. I had an odd sense of style by then, and no surprise, girls would obviously pick on that. I never understood why. I did go to thrift stores looking for clothes that fit my personality, no matter how funky they would be. One of my favorite finds was a pair of blue and brown plaid Roxy pants. These were a major deal for me because they were a brand name, and albeit secondhand. I got a spaghetti strap top. It was brown with blue trim to go with it. The day I finally went to school feeling like my outfit might fit the current trends and my personality, I felt on top of the world. I'm walking across campus to my classes when some girl shouts my name. I look around, but I don't see anyone I know. She walks closer, talking directly to me, and all I see is that she's wearing the exact same pants I'm wearing. For fucking Christ's sake, give me a break, Delia.
That bitch crying.
Once she gets closer, I see it's my best friend from elementary school. We notice we're wearing the same outfit. We laugh. We embrace. She was alive and well. Hold on. This mended my little broken heart. More than I ever could have planned. She was still the coolest girl. She wore everything better, including those pants. She was still kind, courageous, and terribly funny. From that point forward, she was my ride or die. We did everything we could together through those high school years. We ate together. We wrote wonderful notes to each other, adorning them with beautiful artwork of each other's names. We'd shop together at the cool shops, as well as my beloved stores. And we had our first beer together. We cried to each other. We laughed even more. She never made fun of me for how I dressed or where I lived. She helped me feel confident in my awkward sense of style. She made me feel brave when I was picked on, and then even stood up to those bullies alongside me, even though they were originally her friends. We went our own ways after high school, as friends often do, but I always carried her with me, and her friendship helped me accomplish wonderful things. We lost touch again for several years. I didn't know if we'd come together, but I knew deep down that our time wasn't up. It came true shortly after CJ and I married. We saw each other hanging out with other friends at a bar, and I knew I would never let my friend disappear again. She was exactly the same girl I once knew, but had grown into an amazing woman. Her kindness is something to behold. She still includes everyone. She matured in a way someone who lives to be 100 would hope to achieve. Her family and her friendships, old and new, are a huge testament to that. If she was the only friend I made in my entire lifetime, I would still have enough. The best part is we've been friends for 35 years now and counting, which means our families have grown. And now we get to watch our husbands' friendships blossom, our children's friendships grow. No matter the distance, when we're together, it's like no time has passed. We're still those 5-year-olds who find trouble, who laugh ourselves to tears, who we can tell our deepest secrets to, and who we can trust with our hearts. I do wish everyone the fortune of experiencing such a profound and lasting friendship, but if not, I know someone you can borrow. And we're going to go ahead and just put
You're a bitch.
Wow.
That ending part. Wow.
I had to switch it. I was like, please don't make me cry in front of people for this long. Damn it.
Ditto. Well, bitch, ditto.
Yeah. And
I mean, I obviously, you
feel
how
it
important
different.
you are to me,
Yeah.
and how much we love each other, but I never realized the impact that I guess our friendship had on you as little kids.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So to hear it in your perspective and in your words, it's just
it hits different. Because you were there, I mean, you're on the opposite side of it where like your family had to move away, but you don't realize like what you leave and how like some people are left without information, or is she okay, or what happened and where'd she go? Like my only real friend is gone. So that was quite different. And then obviously you can't know the impact that like a person like you will have on someone until they can really express it into that kind of language. So you can kind of see it and hear it. And obviously we love each other. We're a found family and we've known each other for longer than I've known my brother. But, friendships like that are not common and they are not always lasting. And sometimes they get lost for good. And I gotta say, ours in 3 acts. How many times?
well, that was beautiful.
Oh, thank you. And a testament to the kind of person that you are going to share our final story for the night.
Oh my God. Here we
which
go.
is
You had to start it.
a doozy.
I did a pre-read earlier and shared this with her, hoping that it would prevent the tears when I read it here. But now that she got me going again, I don't know. All right. So this story is Meeting Through Design. It's not the most clever title, but
I love it.
I was working at Home Depot and I would often get a lot of ladies that would come in and ask my advice on paint colors and design colors for different rooms in their house. One weekend, a lady came in and we hit it off right away. She was such a bright light and had an amazing smile, and she was just so fun to talk to. She wanted to remodel her kitchen, but was on a budget and thought that by simply changing the paint colors of her cabinets and walls, she could possibly make a huge difference, but just didn't know where to start and was scared to take the first step. She came in a few times, and every time she saw me, she would get super excited, and we would spend at least an hour talking. And she noticed one day that I was wearing a cross around my neck. At the time, my husband and I were going through court issues with my daughter's birth mother, and it was definitely taking a toll on me mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. I wore the cross around my neck to try to remind myself to have faith and not to worry, even though it is definitely easier said than done. She got excited when she saw my cross and pulled out the cross that she was wearing around her neck. She didn't know what I was going through, but could sense something and told me to hang on tight to that cross anytime I felt worried and needed something to remind me that everything was going to be okay. Little did she know how much that meant to me at the time. And it was one of the other things that drew us closer together. One day she came in and asked if I would go to her house so I could see her kitchen and maybe it would help me to better assist her in the remodel. She gave me her address, and it turns out that she lived, let Oh, what happened? What did I do? And it turns out that she lived right across the street from me. I met her there after work that night, and we sat in her kitchen and she showed me around her house, but I noticed an energy change when her husband came home. He was polite enough, but made comments that led me to believe that he did not want to invest the time, money, or his wife's happiness for that matter in fixing up the house. Unbeknown to me, she was dealing with a lot in her personal life and was fighting her own personal battles. But I knew that having me around brought her joy and comfort. We still continued to talk and see each other from time to time, but sadly, she did not win her battle. I wonder what I could have done to be there for her in a way that could have helped more, but I like to think that at least my friendship with her brought her moments of joy and we brought each other moments of comfort. I believe it was God who put her in my life for a short time, even if it was to give me a small message to let me know not to give up faith and hope. I just wish that she could have taken her own advice. I can see into her kitchen windows every day, and I think about her often, and I believe that she's with me in those moments, and I hope I still bring her the same amount of joy when I smile at her house.
Wow.
Okay, good night. And there you go.
Now that everyone had a good cry, guys. Thanks.
Again, this week was, I feel like, a more intense freaking week.
Oh, it's week 3. It's a common one. It's a common one.
Evidently, you don't think so, like in books, because these are short stories, but it still hits.
Yeah, with short stories, yeah, we couldn't have predicted this one. But with all of our books, week 3 is the climax. That's the big shit. Anna, bring down the house. What's fucking new?
Well, both of
That's
you,
a rough
both of you
story.
equally.
That is a testament to who you are, by the way. It's so funny.
It coincides with Tasha's like
Yeah.
Here, borrow her. She borrowed you for a moment.
I guess so.
That worked out very well. I had written that and was like kind of editing it here and there for myself as you were like, hey, I have this story. And I was like, oh, bitch, you don't even know how well that's going to go. That's just going to wrap it all up kind of in a nice bow. But it's definitely a story of, the impact that you have on people.
Yeah. Wish you could have had a better ending, but
even if it's not always
The ending's not
it's true life.
done. It's not. That's not the ending yet. Though.
No, that's the ending of the story.
Well, but not for her. We don't.
Y'all, I'm really trying not to say something snotty.
Just say snotty, so it changes it.
I mean, I might shift things, but no, that's the end of that story. That's a rough one. Ooh. It's sad when you hear that someone couldn't overcome their demons.
Yeah.
Honestly, I know that like you may not understand it or be 100% sure of it, but I can guarantee that your moment in her life was an important one. So
Definitely.
Yeah. Even if you couldn't change it.
That's one of those things you got to take. You got to consult yourself with, and then it's one of those moments too where like she brought joy to me as well, and seeing her ending really made me feel like, okay, you can get through this, and I am going to keep faith and hope, and it's just one of those. It sucks that you need to see that happen to someone to kind of reevaluate and look at things and be like, okay, it's not that bad. We can get through this.
Yeah.
But
well, as she said, you can hold your cross, you can have faith. That things will work out, and maybe for her it did.
Yeah.
So.
All these stories are don't write off people because they're strangers, because they can have huge impacts.
Bingo.
A small, no matter the amount of time.
No matter the amount of time.
Yeah.
Absolutely impacts on your life.
Yeah.
Versa, you can impact their lives as well. So
And you may not see your impact truly, but you don't know what impact you've really made.
Desiree, you were going to say something snotty?
Oh, just that Anna's a bitch, and we all don't get that version of her.
Or you don't accept that version.
Maybe not all deserve that version.
No.
Oh.
Anna and I are, we love each other so much, we fucking hate each other.
They
Nice.
literally could be like the siblings that
Siblings that never were, but are.
like they love each other, they got each other's backs and shit, but fuck being
I'll
friends.
take a bitch down, though.
Take
Yeah.
a bitch down. I still
Right.
I would pay to see the wrestling match. I would pay money.
It would be a short match.
A lot of money.
I feel like Anna has like 10 shirts that say, "I hope you have the day you deserve," and then
You know, I have that shirt, right?
I feel like you have 10 of them.
Oh yeah, and I just wear one every day, different color.
Dark color.
Instead of like the underwear of the week.
Shirt of the day.
It's just so I can keep wearing the same smart ass shirt. Yeah.
Oh my god, that sounds about right. I know some people have wrote me off. That's rough. You've experienced a major change in your life, and to be written off because that change is that's rough.
No.
And not everyone's going to be accepting, but they don't have to be, because they aren't the right people to keep in your life if they aren't.
That's right.
Because you
But you
open
know what, at the end of the day, though, Jessica, I mean, I've been in that situation too, obviously for other reasons. And the version of me that Tasha has or sees, or, like the story, that's not the same version of me that other people have gotten. That's not the same
Like
relationship
Desiree.
with other people. But we are human, right? And it happens. And sometimes they're deserving of it, and sometimes they're not. But I've actually been in no, not you.
I know.
But I have been in a situation where I reached out to someone that, looking back, because I was young, I was in my 20s, she was in her, mid 30s. And I look back like, fuck, I could have been a better friend. I could have handled situations differently. I could have been a better friend. And I went through a lot with this person that I now see, even though I was younger, she did confide in me. And I think at the time I just kind of didn't see the importance.
Yeah.
And I have reached out and apologized. And that's a hard thing to do.
Yeah.
To admit that you were wrong. And it's not even like because I needed her forgiveness. And it is scary to not know if you're going to get that or not, right? Because to know that someone maybe doesn't like you because of choices you made and how you treated them sucks. But I just needed to do it for me so that she knew, hey, everything you did for me never went unnoticed.
Yeah.
And I can see now how I could have handled things differently. And I apologize, and she was just like in shock. And she was so appreciative. And she's like, we got to spend time and hang out and reconnect. And so it did turn out well. But yeah, I mean, that happens.
It's hard to get there. And not everybody does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what I think, hearing stories like Tasha's and stuff, like that's hard. That's harder for me than anything, because I don't see myself in that light. I think for me as a person, I'm the hardest on myself more than anybody else could be on me. So I constantly see everything I could have done better, or someone I could have treated better or done something better. So that's where my brain focuses. So when I hear something good, it's very hard to take in and accept.
That's
So
interesting too, because you're hearing it from several times in one person's life. I mean, I was 5, and then I was like 15, and then I was like 25.
Yeah.
I mean, those are major like shifts in time, and
Those are.
But each time, the core of you is still always there, and so mistakes are not bad days and good. You're still that same kind of person. But I never wrote you off. You just kept disappearing out of my life.
So she wrote you off?
At one point, I just had no idea. I thought she might have been dead.
Yeah. Oh, damn.
I was 5 in dramatic. Okay, maybe I was 7 in dramatic, but still.
Yeah. Well, you should have just asked Tracy, because but she was in Arizona. Never mind.
She was not there. That's what I'm saying. Nobody that had any trace of you would have given me answers. There's no way.
Yeah.
I'm just like, teacher, she's not here. She's supposed to be here. We were supposed to have the same class.
Right. Who am I going to put my nose on the wall
Who?
next to?
No.
Yeah.
No. Miss Jelnick said no. I don't even know who she is.
You should have asked Miss Carpenter.
I was
Everybody convinced you she was a ghost? That's messed
Stop
up.
with all the shoves.
like a bitch. But anyways, Jessica, not everybody who's supposed to be in your life in the future was also there in the past. So
True. Very
never
true.
know. However, you opening up to all of us.
You got us now, bitch.
I don't know if that's a celebration or not, but
I would celebrate.
I would celebrate.
It's something.
Mhm. You opened up to
Oh,
a
it's
lot of
something.
strangers, and it turned out to be so.
There you go.
Well done. Sometimes it's all you got to do. And good night, Jessica, and the rest of you bitches. Go, Sherry.
she
That's
got
a
the
good way to
special
put it.
shout out.
Good night, Jessica, and the rest of you bees. Well done. All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining, everyone for sharing tonight. Wonderful stories, sad and true. We will be finishing all these wonders this week, and we have a super cute giveaway to go with that at the end of the week. So finish up your story. We do have one more prompt, and I will post that tomorrow. All you bitches have a wonderful night.
Nabbies.
Good night.
Right.